Chapter 68. Just you wait. The next time we meet, it will be the day when the He Huan sect and demonic palace are annihilated. Ling Xiao glanced coldly at Lu Guanjie, then disappeared into the abandoned mine. Chase after him. You must kill him. Lu Guanjie and the three elders flew into a rage. In the blink of an eye, more than a dozen disciples from the two sects were either dead or injured. Not a single one of them was able to stand there unscathed. Inside the spirit stone mine, flesh and blood were flying everywhere. Broken limbs were everywhere. It was like hell. Miserable howls could be heard everywhere. Lu Guanjie felt as if his heart was bleeding. These were all true disciples of the all-pleasure sect. It took a great deal of effort to nurture even one of them. He didn't expect that Ling Xiao would kill them all as if they were vegetables. His eyes were bloodshot. His hatred for Ling Xiao had reached the extreme. Without needing Lu Guanjie to say anything, two elders of the He Huan sect and one elder of the demonic palace rushed into the abandoned mine. Lu Guanjie thought for a moment and gave up on breaking the restriction of the Immortal's Cave. Instead, he chased Ling Xiao into the abandoned mine. Although Lu Guanjie had only caught a glimpse of the martial arts that Ling Xiao had just displayed, he could tell that they were definitely not ordinary. They were at least Earth-grade martial arts and above. There was definitely something wrong with this kid. If he could capture him and interrogate him, Lu Guanjie had a premonition that his harvest would be even greater than in the Immortal's Cave. In addition, he hated Ling Xiao to the core. Naturally, he chased after him without caring about anything else. After Ling Xiao rushed into the abandoned mine, the tunnels in the mine extended in all directions. It was very complicated. Ling Xiao took a few turns and rushed through several tunnels. He began to restrain his aura. At the same time, he took out various spiritual medicines from the scroll and smeared them on his body to dissolve the smell of blood. Although Ling Xiao was confident that he could hide from a Dragon Tiger realm expert, it was different when facing a Grandmaster. In the Grandmaster realm, one could comprehend the power of the Xiantian realm, the combination of qi and spirit, and the connection between heaven and man. He had gradually comprehended the magical use of mental strength. He could lock onto a person's aura. It was very powerful. Ling Xiao didn't think that it would be so easy to escape Lu Guanjie's pursuit in this abandoned mine. There was a reason why Ling Xiao chose to escape into the abandoned mine instead of leaving the spirit stone mine. If he directly left the spirit stone mine, regardless of whether Ling Xiao could escape Lu Guanjie's pursuit, the Great Elder, Nangong Qin, and the other disciples would be in danger. Lu Guanjie was obviously not an ordinary Master Realm expert. The first elder had just stabilized his Master Realm cultivation, so he was definitely not a match for Lu Guanjie. When Ling Xiao escaped into the abandoned mine, he saw that the tunnels were complicated and extended in all directions. Some of them were even connected to the underground river. If he could find the underground river, he would naturally be able to escape with his life. Piff! Ling Xiao continued to fly forward, but he still spat out a mouthful of blood. The injuries that he had been suppressing earlier had erupted. Grandmaster, if I can't become an evolved Jing Master, I'll still be an ant. My cultivation is still too weak. There's no way I can fight against an evolved Jing Master. Ling Xiao wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, took out a healing elixir and swallowed it. At the same time, he activated the Sky-Devouring secret skill. The Sky-Devouring spirit seed continued to devour the surrounding spiritual qi of heaven and earth, and began to slowly heal Ling Xiao's internal injuries. Just now, Ling Xiao's internal organs were injured by Lu Guanjie's innate true gang. Although the Flood Dragon's body gave Ling Xiao an unparalleled physical strength, the strength only stayed in his muscles and meridians, and did not go deep into his internal organs, so Ling Xiao's internal organs were still very fragile. A Grandmaster Realm expert could control his own strength to the smallest detail, and could mobilize the energy of heaven and earth. The innate true Kong in the body was even more domineering. Even if Lu Guanjie was only using a black-level martial art, he could still erupt the power of an earth-level martial art. On the contrary, Ling Xiao's cultivation was only at the 9th level of the true energy realm. The gap was still too big. Even if the Ancestral Dragon secret skill and the Sky-Devouring secret skill were used together, The gap between the realms could not be closed. The gap between the Grandmaster realm and the Dragon Tiger realm was huge. It was like the gap between an adult man and a baby, not to mention that Ling Xiao had not even reached the Dragon Tiger realm. Only when one reached the Grandmaster realm could he establish his own sect and become a Grandmaster. Ling Xiao dashed forward in the abandoned mine, but he could still feel that Lu Guanjie was not far behind him. No, if this continues, I might really be found by him. Ling Xiao frowned slightly. The mine was so dark that he could not see his own fingers. Ling Xiao's aura had been completely concealed, and the smell of blood had been mostly cleared. However, Lu Guanjie was still able to follow him, which showed how terrifying a Grandmaster was. At this moment, Ling Xiao's mental strength acutely sensed a strange fluctuation. The power of a restriction? Could it be that I'm near the Immortal's cave? Ling Xiao's gaze moved. He could faintly feel a strong restriction aura coming from not far ahead, and that aura was somewhat familiar. Ling Xiao immediately thought of the Immortal's cave. One had to know that this abandoned mine was connected to another mine. Even the longevity sect disciples who used to mine spiritual stones could not find out the situation in the mine. After all, this spiritual stone mine had existed for many years. Who would have thought that Ling Xiao would actually arrive in the vicinity of that Deva's abode by chance? Since it's the Immortal's cave, there might be some means that can threaten a Grandmaster. Ling Xiao thought to himself. Without hesitation, he headed in the direction of the restriction. Ling Xiao's aura was completely retracted, and he used the Cloud Dragon 9 emergence technique. His entire person was like a moving rock, without any signs of life. Very quickly, he saw the end of the tunnel. There was a faint light coming from there, and there was a sound. Ling Xiao walked over carefully and looked outside through the stone wall of the tunnel. It was a huge underground cave, and there were a few huge luminous pearls carved on the ceiling, illuminating the entire underground cave. In the north of the cave, there was a bright light screen, with 3 colors lingering around it, emitting a strong restriction aura. A black-robed Grandmaster and a few Dragon Tiger realm powerhouses were attacking the light screen fiercely. That light screen must be the Immortal's cave. Ling Xiao's eyes flickered, and his sharp mental strength spread out. He actually felt an extremely familiar aura from the light screen. Tripartite Spirit Sealing Array? This Immortal's cave was left behind by the longevity sect's powerhouses? Ling Xiao could immediately tell that the bright light screen restriction was the longevity sect's Tripartite Spirit Sealing Array. However, it was said that the Tripartite Spirit Sealing Array had been lost a few hundred years ago. So this Immortal's cave was left behind by the longevity sect's powerhouses a few hundred years ago? They must have encountered some dangerous situation and did not have time to inform the longevity sect. Chapter 69. Boom. The black-robed Grandmaster and a few elders of the Dragon and Tiger realm landed their powerful attacks on the light screen, causing it to tremble violently as if it would shatter at any moment. However, in Ling Xiao's opinion, the tripartite spirit sealing formation was extremely sturdy. Only a little bit of spiritual energy had been used up. At this rate, it would take at least 10 days to half a month to break the formation. The tripartite spirit sealing array used the power of heaven, earth, and man to gather endless energy to form a great array. Moreover, the tripartite spirit sealing array here was laid down by a heaven-tier expert. Moreover, it used the spirit stones within the spirit stone mine as the source of power. As long as the spirit stone mine did not dry up, the tripartite spirit sealing array would be able to operate forever. This was also why the tripartite spirit sealing formation was still so powerful even after hundreds of years in the celestial realm cave abode. Ling Xiao could also see that the tripartite spirit sealing formation was extraordinary. The celestial realm master who set up the formation must have touched upon the willpower of the noble realm. To break the tripartite spirit sealing formation, one must find the eye of the formation of heaven, earth, and man. Only by breaking the eye of the formation at the same time can the formation be broken. With their random attacks, there is no way they can break the formation. However, the person who set up the formation must be an outstanding person. There must be a lot of good stuff in his cave abode. Ling Xiao's eyes flickered. revealing a look of anticipation. However, to enter the cave abode, he would have to alert the people who were attacking the light screen. A Grandmaster from the Sky Devil Palace and 6 Dragon and Tiger Realm Masters. There is still a chance, Ling Xiao muttered. At this moment, he felt that Lu Guanjie and the others who were chasing him were getting closer and closer. If he did not act now and waited for Lu Guanjie to arrive, Ling Xiao would be surrounded. He would not be able to escape even if he wanted to. Let's do it. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed coldly. He poured all his innate qi into his legs and activated the Cloud Dragon 9 changes. With a tap of his feet, he shot towards the center of the cave like a ray of light. Who is it? Almost as soon as Ling Xiao started to move, the Grandmaster of the Sky Devil Palace, Guang, the Deputy Palace Master, noticed Ling Xiao. People from the Changsun sect? A mere LV9 True Energy Realm martial artist dares to snatch food from the tiger's mouth? You're courting death. Guang looked at Ling Xiao coldly. He saw that Ling Xiao was wearing the Changsun sect's uniform. He laughed coldly and slapped out mercilessly. Although it was just a casual palm strike, the innate true qi exploded and shot out like countless steel needles. The powerful force gathered together and was about to kill Ling Xiao on the spot. If it had been an ordinary true qi realm expert, they would have had no choice but to nurse their grievances in the face of this palm strike. However, he was facing Ling Xiao. The wind from the palm surged, and the force shattered rocks. This palm strike was enough to shatter metal and rock. However, Ling Xiao's expression was extremely calm. Facing this unavoidable palm strike, he began to spin in the air like a top. Boom! When the innate True Kong landed on Ling Xiao's body, it instantly disintegrated. Most of the innate True Kong palm force was neutralized by Ling Xiao's ingenious strength and shot towards the 6 elders of the Dragon Tiger realm who were eyeing them covetously. As for the remaining True Kong palm, it was destroyed by Ling Xiao's heaven-devouring spiritual seed and turned into pure energy that was absorbed into his qi. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The True Kong palm force that shot towards the elders of the Dragon Tiger realm was extremely sharp, causing the 6 elders to scramble to dodge. At this moment, a gap appeared between the tripartite spirit sealing formation and Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's speed suddenly increased, and he shot towards the tripartite spirit sealing formation. What? Not good, stop him quickly. Guang's face revealed a trace of shock. He did not think that a mere kid in the true energy realm would be able to block his palm strike unscathed. At this moment, seeing Ling Xiao rushing towards the tripartite spirit sealing formation, he suddenly had a bad premonition in his heart and hurriedly yelled out. Boom! Ling Xiao's speed was fast, but Guang and the 6 elders of the Dragon Tiger realm attacked even faster. Guang's entire body was filled with demonic qi, and a cold and dark aura gushed out from his palm. It turned into a huge black divine light that shot towards Ling Xiao at extreme speed. The 6 elders also attacked at the same time. True qi filled the void, and the sky was filled with huge fist and palm prints. Wrapped in an unparalleled divine power, they wanted to kill Ling Xiao with their palms. Ling Xiao seemed to have expected all of this, and a trace of mockery appeared at the corner of his mouth. His body shifted to the side at an unbelievable angle by 1 foot. Boom! 7 powerful attacks landed on the light screen, causing the tripartite spirit sealing formation to tremble violently again. Stop him! You must not let him escape. He is the holy son of the Changxing sect, Ling Xiao. The spirit transformation stage disciples of the Hehuan sect and the demonic palace all died at his hands. At this moment, a furious roar was heard. Lu Guanjie rushed out of the passageway with 3 Dragon Tiger realm elders. What? He is Ling Xiao? Guang and the rest were both shocked and furious, and their eyes were filled with disbelief. This incomparably delicate-looking youth, whose cultivation was only at the True Qi realm, had actually killed so many spirit transformation stage disciples? When the people of the demonic palace heard that the Changxing sect had produced a monstrous holy son, Ling Xiao, who was able to kill spirit transformation stage disciples at the True Qi realm, they did not take it seriously. They thought that the all-pleasure sect was exaggerating, but now it seemed that this kid was incomparably strange. The deaths and injuries of the spirit transformation realm disciples of our two sects were all caused by him alone. Even Elder Mayan died by his hands. Lu Guanjie said while gnashing his teeth. His eyes were filled with blazing killing intent. Elder Mayan is also dead? Guang exclaimed, and his body trembled violently. Mayan was at the 4th level of the Dragon Tiger realm, and he was actually killed by this kid? He must kill this kid, or else the All-Pleasure sect and the Demonic Palace will never have a day of peace. Endless killing intent and fear surged in Guang's heart. Once this monstrous genius matured, who would be able to stop his footsteps? The All-Pleasure sect and the Demonic Palace would probably become his stepping stones. Since they had already thoroughly offended him, they might as well kill him completely and eliminate all future troubles. Lu Guanjie, Guang, and the 9 Dragon Tiger Realm elders faintly formed an encirclement and surrounded Ling Xiao. Kid, let's see where you can run to. When I catch you, I'll crush every bone in your body inch by inch. Let's see if you still dare to be arrogant then. Lu Guanjie's cold gaze landed on Ling Xiao as he spoke with killing intent. Why should I run? Chapter 70. Do you know why I barged into this place? Do you really think I'm here to seek my own death? Ling Xiao smiled with a hint of mockery in his eyes. At this moment, he was standing in front of the light screen, just a step away from the light screen behind him. Oh no, stop him. A bad premonition flashed through Guang's heart. He thought of how Ling Xiao had rushed towards the light curtain at all costs. His expression changed immediately, and he pounced on Ling Xiao. It's too late. The next time we meet will be the end of the He Huan sect and Sky Demon Palace. Ling Xiao grinned, but his eyes were filled with a cold light. He took a light step backward, and his entire body seemed to have fused into the light screen, disappearing in an instant. Boom! Guang's ferocious attack missed and directly hit the light screen, causing the light screen to vibrate violently again. Damn it! How could he enter the restrictive shield? Guang, Lu Guanjie, and the rest were completely stunned. Their faces were pale and they looked terrible. They worked so hard and secretly imprisoned the people from the Changsun sect just for this immortal's cave abode. However, they couldn't break the restrictive shield even after attacking for 3 days. Yet Ling Xiao walked in just like that? Guang and Lu Guanjie were going crazy. Rumble! They continued to attack the light screen fiercely, but the light screen shook violently as if it was going to break at any moment. However, they couldn't break it. Continue attacking. Once we break open the restriction and capture that little bastard Ling Xiao, I'll definitely make him beg for death. Guang gritted his teeth and said. He felt like he was fooled and was furious. Lu Guanjie was even more furious. He attacked the light screen fiercely without saying a word. His eyes shone with frightening coldness. Rumble! 2 Grandmasters and 9 Longhu Realm experts began to attack the tripartite spirit sealing formation with all their might. At this moment, Ling Xiao heaved a sigh of relief after entering the tripartite spirit sealing formation. The tripartite spirit sealing formation had an extremely strong defensive power. It used the power of heaven, earth, and man to limit the changes of the formation. However, this tripartite spirit sealing formation was passed down by Jinsei, so Ling Xiao was naturally very familiar with it. As long as one grasped the key and found the moment when heaven, earth, and man changed, and supported the corresponding steps, one would be able to enter the tripartite spirit sealing array. This was also the reason why the celestial tier elite had laid down the tripartite spirit sealing formation. If it was a disciple of the longevity sect who had grasped the mysteries within, he would naturally be able to enter and obtain the inheritance. If one wasn't a disciple of the Changsun sect, they wouldn't even be able to enter. Behind the tripartite spirit sealing array was an ancient cave. The ground was covered in dust, and the surrounding stone walls were very dry. There was a faint warm aura coming from them. Walking further in, there were 3 stone rooms. They looked very simple and crude. They were hastily built and the walls were uneven. In the innermost stone room, there was a corpse sitting cross-legged. However, after a few hundred years, the flesh had completely rotted away, leaving only a white skeleton. In front of the skeleton, there was a praying mat. There were a few lines of sharp handwriting on a rock beside it. Members of the longevity sect, kowtow 1,000 times. If you join my sect, you won't regret it even if you die 100 times. The 16 large words were like dragons. They were like iron hooks and silver strokes, emitting traces of chilling sword intent. Kowtow 1,000 times? You dare to ask me, Ling Xiao, to kowtow to you? You really have guts. Ling Xiao's lips curled into a smile. With his strong mental strength, he easily discovered that there was a piece of beast skin hidden in the praying mat. Ling Xiao pointed his finger and an invisible sword chi shot out. The praying mat instantly broke apart, revealing the beast skin scroll within. The beast skin scroll looked very sturdy. Ling Xiao didn't know what kind of ferocious beast it was, but it didn't break even after a few hundred years. Ling Xiao opened the beast skin scroll and saw that it was filled with tiny words. I am the 93rd generation sect leader of the longevity sect, Taoist Tianfeng. Because the Wanshou sect coveted our sect's martial arts, a traitor appeared in the sect, causing the Wanshou sect to kill countless disciples of the longevity sect. Although I fought bravely, I was no match for them and was heavily injured. After Ling Xiao finished reading the contents of the beast skin scroll, he gradually understood the identity of the skeleton. The 93rd generation sect leader, Taoist Tianfeng? If I remember correctly, it should be 500 years ago. At that time, the longevity sect wasn't as weak as it is now. It wasn't any weaker than the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom. However, there was a huge change. Later on, countless martial arts were lost and the longevity sect declined to this extent. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he recalled the records of the longevity sect from 500 years ago. It turned out that the Wanshou sect coveted the longevity sect's martial arts, resulting in the battle 500 years ago. At that time, a traitor appeared in the longevity sect and in the end, the longevity sect was almost annihilated. All the records of the battle from 500 years ago were only a few words, and they were not detailed. The Wanshou sect? Damn it. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with killing intent. The current Wanshou sect was above the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom and was on par with the Sun Moon Star sect. It was far from what Ling Xiao could contend with now. However, Ling Xiao would remember this blood feud. 500 years ago, Taoist Tianfeng was hunted down by the experts of the Wanshou sect. Although he escaped in the end, he was severely injured and died in this spiritual stone mine. Don't worry, I will settle this score with the Wanshou sect sooner or later. Ling Xiao looked at the skeleton in front of him and said slowly. It had to be said that the sect leader of the longevity sect had fallen to such a state. It was really sad. Finally, Ling Xiao's gaze landed on a metal ring on the skeleton's right finger. If one did not look carefully, there was no way to discover that metal ring. That metal ring was too ordinary and had merged with the finger bone. However, Ling Xiao saw two mysterious ancient words on the metal hoop. Longevity. Longevity ring? I didn't expect the longevity ring to be left here. Ling Xiao sighed softly and gently removed the metal ring from the finger bone. There was a trace of nostalgia in his eyes. The longevity ring was the symbol of the leader of the Changsun sect. 10,000 years ago, the Changsun sect reigned supreme under the heavens, looking down on the 8 barren lands. Ling Xiao had personally forged this longevity ring as a symbol of the leader of the Changsun sect. The longevity ring was a top-tier supreme artifact. Compared to the legendary divine artifacts, it was only slightly weaker. Ling Xiao had refined a spatial fragment into the longevity ring. It contained millions of miles of space and had its own laws. It could allow living beings to live in it. It could contain immemorial sacred mountains and ancient rivers. Moreover, the longevity ring had both offensive and defensive capabilities. Ling Xiao had refined it into 81 layers of sovereign formations. Even a sovereign expert could be kept in the longevity ring and refined into ashes. Chapter 71. After 10,000 years, even you have become like this. Ling Xiao said softly. He cut open his palm and let his blood flow into the longevity ring. After the longevity ring absorbed Ling Xiao's blood, it actually let out a joyful wave. The rust on the surface slowly disappeared, and it became smooth again. It emitted a milky white glow and hid on the surface of Ling Zhao's skin. Only the power of a low-grade artifact now? But don't worry, since you could become a top-grade supreme artifact in my previous life, I will definitely be able to restore you in this life. I might even surpass my previous life and become an indestructible artifact. Ling Zhao touched the longevity ring gently and said slowly. Even the longevity ring was damaged to such an extent. One could imagine what kind of war the Changsun sect had gone through in the past 10,000 years. The longevity ring's spirit had been destroyed, and only a trace of spirituality was left. It had also degenerated to a low-grade artifact, with only 100 feet of space inside. Ling Zhao opened the longevity ring and saw that there were over 100 martial arts manuals floating in it. Firmament Palm, Sweeping Leg, Cloud Ladder, Misty Sword, Great Vajra Palm, Vajra Subduing Devil Fist. These martial arts were all martial arts that had been lost in the Changsun sect or were incomplete martial arts. However, most of these martial arts were black-grade martial arts. There were only a dozen or so earth-grade martial arts. Among them, there were 3 earth-grade martial arts: Great Vajra Palm, Vajra Subduing Demon Fist, and 6 Yang True Skill. But what Ling Zhao cared about the most was that there was a heaven-grade martial art among them. Although it was only a low-grade heaven-grade martial art, it was still extremely powerful. Lesser Phaseless Technique. As the saying goes, clouds are formless, wind is traceless, heaven and earth are impermanent, formless and formless. Cultivating this technique would allow one to imitate other martial arts with unparalleled power. In other words, as long as it was a low-grade heaven-grade martial art, the lesser phaseless technique could imitate it. This technique made Ling Zhao's eyes light up. 10,000 years ago, the Changsun sect did not have this lesser phaseless technique. It should be a martial art collected by the Changsun sect later on. With these martial arts manuals, the Changsun sect only needs to secretly accumulate power and they will definitely rise quickly. This lesser phaseless technique is quite interesting. I can cultivate it. Ling Zhao muttered to himself. The martial arts manuals in the longevity ring were all top-notch. They must have been taken away by Taoist Tianfeng 500 years ago to preserve the longevity sect's legacy. Heaven-class martial arts were extremely precious. Even in martial arts holy lands like the Thousand Beasts sect and the Sun Luna Star sect, heaven-class martial arts were treasures. Other than these martial arts manuals, there were also a few hundred spiritual items and more than 10 precious items in the longevity ring. Those spirit tools could be given to the disciples of the longevity sect to increase their strength. Once they reached the Grandmaster realm, only treasured tools would be able to unleash enough power. Most of these treasures were low-grade treasures. There was only 1 mid-grade treasure and 1 high-grade treasure. The mid-grade artifact was a red pill cauldron, named the Six Suns Cauldron. The high-grade artifact was a simple and unadorned longsword. Its radiance was restrained, and its shape was peculiar. It emitted a strange wave of energy, named the Vanquisher Sword. 6 Yang Cauldron, Evil-Slaying Sword. Ling Zhao's eyes lit up and landed on the Six Suns Cauldron. As an alchemist, he was worried that he didn't have a suitable cauldron. He didn't expect to encounter the Six Suns Cauldron. The Vanquisher Sword was a high-grade treasure with unparalleled power. It could be used as Ling Zhao's weapon. With the Vanquisher Sword in hand, Ling Zhao's battle prowess increased by a lot. With the power of the Vanquisher Sword, Ling Zhao believed that he could even fight against a Grandmaster realm expert. However, Ling Zhao's cultivation was only at the 9th level of the true energy realm. If he wanted to unleash the full power of the Vanquisher Sword, even if Ling Zhao's Qi was incomparably huge, he wouldn't be able to hold on for long. I need to reach the spirit transformation realm as soon as possible. This immortal cave is a good place. Once I break through to the spirit transformation realm, even if I face Lu Guanjie and Guaong with the Vanquisher Sword, it's hard to say who will win and who will lose. Ling Zhao lightly flicked the Vanquisher Sword in his hand, making a crisp sound. The sound was melodious and pure. The flawless sword body shone brightly in Ling Zhao's eyes. Other than the martial arts manuals and treasures, there were only some miscellaneous items that Ling Zhao didn't care about. However, when Ling Zhao saw a yellowish stone in the longevity ring, His eyes suddenly shook and revealed an expression of incomparable ecstasy. "This is the myriad chi stone?" Ling Xiao took out the yellowish stone and used a bit of strength in his hand. Instantly, the outer layer of the stone shattered, revealing a brilliant yellow light that was dazzling to the eyes. It was a piece of yellowish stone that exuded a thick and pure earth chi. It was majestic and vast, as if endless mountains and rivers were condensed in this ball. It faintly had an aura that encompassed everything. Ling Xiao immediately recognized it. This was the legendary myriad chi stone. The myriad chi stone was a top-grade earth attribute treasure. It was a treasure that had been nurtured by the earth vein core for tens of millions of years. It contained incomparably pure Xianhuang Mother Qi, and Xianhuang Mother Qi was the source of earth attribute spiritual energy. The myriad chi stone had a terrifying effect on those who cultivated earth attribute martial arts. It could increase the cultivation speed by more than 10 times. When used to refine pills, the myriad chi stone could even be used to refine supreme weapons. A supreme weapon contained a weapon spirit and the power of laws. It was the strongest weapon used by supremes. It could be said that the myriad chi stone was incomparably precious. If it was placed in the war god continent, even supremes would value it highly. Although the myriad chi stone was not an earth attribute spiritual seed, it was 10 times or even 100 times more powerful. Refining this myriad chi stone would be enough to replenish a portion of the heaven-devouring spiritual seed. I didn't expect Taoist priest Skywind to have such a treasure like the myriad chi stone. It's just that he didn't know that he had such a treasure. Otherwise, no matter how serious his injuries were, if he could refine the myriad chi stone, he would have been able to recover. However, this myriad chi stone has benefited me greatly. Ling Xiao sighed and muttered to himself. The yellowish layer on the myriad chi stone could block the detection of mental strength. Most people wouldn't even care about such a stone and would only treat it as an ordinary weapon refining material. The myriad chi stone was something that even noble realm cultivators might not recognize. That was why Taoist priest Skywind had missed out on this treasure. After obtaining the myriad chi stone, Ling Xiao was also rather excited. He was prepared to refine it and improve the heaven-devouring spiritual seed. Ling Xiao sat down cross-legged and released his Zhen Qi, lifting up the myriad chi stone and making it float in front of Ling Xiao. Chapter 72. Rumble. Even Ling Xiao did not dare to swallow the myriad chi stone directly. Otherwise, the majestic power contained in the myriad chi stone could make him explode in an instant. Therefore, he chose to refine the Xianhuang Mother Qi bit by bit. The Xianhuang Mother Qi was an innate earth attribute spiritual root. Now that it had merged into Ling Xiao's body, it was like the spring wind and rain, silently moistening everything. However, Ling Xiao's body had become a little different. Streaks of dense spiritual light flickered as the Xianhuang Mother Qi merged into Ling Xiao's flesh, meridians, and bone marrow, transforming his body bit by bit. The acquired qi in Ling Xiao's body was expelled, and a stream of innate qi rose. Countless particles around him seemed to be cheering and jumping, and began to greedily devour the Xianhuang Mother Qi. Gradually, Ling Xiao's flesh, meridians, and bone marrow began to emit a jade-like luster, and his whole body was filled with a fragrance like orchids and musk. This was a kind of rebirth, a kind of complete sublimation and metamorphosis. Under the effect of the myriad qi stone, Ling Xiao's originally incomparably ordinary body was transforming into a mysterious state at this moment. Boom! Not only the body, but the genuine qi in Ling Xiao's body also seemed to have begun to boil at this moment. The Xianhuang Mother Qi was the innate qi of origin. When it entered Ling Xiao's qi si, it was like a ball of fire, instantly burning the endless genuine qi in Ling Xiao's qi si. Waves surged, and the sea of fire spread. The innate genuine qi that Ling Xiao had painstakingly cultivated was dissolved little by little, and Ling Xiao's cultivation also began to decline from LV9 of the genuine qi realm, LV8 of the genuine qi realm, LV6 of the genuine qi realm, LV7 of the genuine qi realm. In the end, the 9 genuine qi vortexes were completely burned and turned into a faint rain of light, which was very gorgeous. When the last wisp of innate genuine qi was completely burned, Ling Zhao's qi suddenly changed. Rumble! The majestic black-yellow mother qi exploded with a loud bang, and the chaotic mist filled the air. Ling Zhao's sea of qi seemed to have undergone an earth-shattering change. The original 99 zhang sea of qi suddenly shook violently at this moment, and became 100 zhang wide. The 1,000 feet sea of qi had already reached a state of perfection. At the same time, 9 majestic cyclones instantly appeared in the qi sea, greedily devouring a large amount of Xianhuang mother qi. The 9 cyclones were like galaxies. They were very beautiful and contained a pure and mysterious fluctuation. When the 9 cyclones filled Ling Zhao's qi sea, another cyclone was born. This cyclone seemed to be the center of the galaxy, domineering, dignified, noble, and ancient. It contained a dark devouring aura, causing Ling Zhao's dantian and sea of qi to start trembling slightly. Ling Zhao was like a bystander, watching the changes in his dantian and qi sea. He had a sudden epiphany. The innate genuine qi realm also has the great perfection. 10 cyclones is the great perfection. Now I can be considered to have reached LV10 of the innate genuine qi realm, right? Ling Zhao thought to himself. However, since ancient times, he had only heard of the great perfection of the meridian opening realm. He had never heard of the great perfection of the genuine qi realm. Ling Zhao faintly felt that perhaps he had stepped on a new path. Rumble! The 10 cyclones occupied the center of the qi sea. With the influx of Xianhuang mother qi, Ling Zhao's entire qi sea was filled with incomparably pure innate genuine qi. In the end, Ling Zhao's dantian felt like it was going to explode. Drip. At this moment, a drop of pale golden innate genuine liquid was born in Ling Zhao's qi sea, exuding a cheerful spiritual fluctuation. At the same time, a strong feeling of power filled Ling Zhao's body. The liquefaction of genuine qi, the beginning of spiritual transformation. This was the symbol of the spiritual transformation realm, which also meant that Ling Zhao had completely entered the spiritual transformation realm. At this moment, the myriad qi stone had only been consumed by less than half. As more and more genuine qi liquefied, Ling Zhao's cultivation also began to increase rapidly. First layer of the spiritual transformation realm, middle layer of the spiritual transformation realm, peak layer of the spiritual transformation realm, second layer of the spiritual transformation realm. Just like this, Ling Zhao only began to suppress the fluctuations of his cultivation when he reached the third layer of the spiritual transformation realm. If he continued to increase his cultivation, it would cause his foundation to become unstable. This was definitely not something Ling Zhao wanted to see. In his qi sea, the heaven-devouring spirit seed's light increased by another ray. Black, red, and yellow rays of light slowly rotated and floated in the center of Ling Zhao's qi sea. It was as if they had turned into a huge black hole, devouring endless energy. At this moment, Ling Zhao no longer continued to increase his cultivation. Instead, he absorbed the Xianhuang mother qi into his body and turned it into flood dragon blood. The symbol of the flood dragon body's complete perfection was that all the blood in his body had turned into flood dragon blood. This also meant that Ling Zhao could break through to the next realm. Drops of pale golden blood began to flow, exuding a faint dragon's aura and violent energy fluctuations. The Xianhuang mother qi was a precious innate genuine qi that seemed to have a miraculous effect on cultivating the ancestral dragon secret technique. A drop of flood dragon blood instantly condensed. 2 drops, 3 drops, 4 drops, Ling Zhao was immersed in this state of cultivation. The dragon's aura exuding from his body also became stronger and stronger. After an unknown period of time, when an incomparably clear dragon's roar rang out, Ling Zhao's body shook violently and woke up from that state of cultivation. The universal qi stone that was originally the size of a fist was now the size of a finger. At this moment, Ling Zhao's body was filled with explosive energy. He could no longer refine a trace of the Xianhuang mother qi. This was because all the blood in his body had turned into flood dragon blood. Boom! Ling Zhao punched out, and an extremely fast explosion sounded in the void. He was like a young divine king, exuding a faint fragrance all over his body. He was flawless, dazzling, and elegant. His eyes were even brighter than the stars. At this moment, Ling Zhao's vitality was so vigorous that it was terrifying. He was like a flood dragon in human form. It was as if he could shatter a mountain with one punch. Is this the power of the flood dragon body's complete perfection? If a dragon tiger realm powerhouse was standing in front of me, I'm afraid I can blast him into pieces with one punch. Ling Zhao muttered to himself. His eyes were filled with incomparable confidence. Ling Zhao's harvest from this cultivation was incomparably great. Not only did his cultivation increase to the 3rd level of the spirit transformation realm, but his physical strength had also increased by several times. He felt that he now had a divine strength of 200,000 kilograms with one hand. With one punch, even a small mountain would be blasted apart. The complete flood dragon body also meant that Ling Zhao now truly possessed the strength comparable to a flood dragon. However, from the power of the flood dragon body, Ling Zhao could also see how terrifying the ancestral dragon secret technique was. Number 1 body refiner in the heavens. It lived up to its reputation. Chapter 73. I wonder how long I've been cultivating? Ling Zhao frowned slightly, and a sharp glint appeared in his eyes. At this moment, he could no longer hear the sound of someone attacking the tripartite spirit sealing array. Could it be that Lu Guanjie and Guang gave up so quickly? Ling Zhao pondered for a while. That should be impossible. The only possibility was that he had been cultivating for a long time. After all, it was hard to have a sense of time when one was immersed in cultivation. Ling Zhao felt that it was only a moment, but in reality, a long time had passed. Thinking of this, Ling Zhao could not help but worry. Would He Huan sect and demonic palace fly into a rage and attack the Changsun sect? The Changsun sect was ranked last among the 3 sections. If He Huan sect and demonic palace joined forces to attack, the Changsun sect would not be able to hold on for long. Thinking of this, Ling Zhao felt a sense of anxiety in his heart. He kept Sage Tianfeng's corpse in his longevity ring and walked out of the cave. There are still people guarding here who are unwilling to give up? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he sneered. Through the tripartite spirit sealing formation, he saw 2 elders sitting cross-legged outside the light. They were both at LV9 Dragon Tiger Realm. One was from He Huan sect while the other was from Demonic Palace. Ling Zhao guessed that He Huan sect and Demonic Palace might not be able to open the tripartite spirit sealing formation. However, they were unwilling to leave just like that, so they sent 2 elders to keep watch. Moreover, 2 LV9 Dragon Tiger Realm powerhouses were enough to suppress Ling Zhao. Thinking of this, Ling Zhao took a step forward and walked out of the light curtain formed by the tripartite spirit sealing formation. Ling Zhao, you dare to come out? As soon as Ling Zhao came out, the 2 old men opened their eyes. Their cold and murderous gazes landed on Ling Zhao. They were incomparably indifferent. What did you get in the cave? Hand it all over and kneel down to accept your death. We'll give you a quick death. Otherwise, this old man will make you beg for death. The elder of the all-pleasure sect said coldly. There was a hint of greed in his eyes. Although he did not know how Ling Zhao entered the tripartite spirit sealing formation, he was sure that Ling Zhao must have gotten a lot of benefits from the Immortal's Cave. If he could capture him and interrogate him, even if he had to hand over most of the benefits to the sect, he would still be able to pocket a lot. The 2 elders surrounded Ling Zhao on his left and right, as though they could attack him at any time. How many days have I been in the tripartite spirit sealing formation? Where are Lu Guanjie and Guang? Ling Zhao frowned and said coldly as he looked at the 2 old men. Brat, could it be that you're scared silly? You don't even know how many days you've been in there? You've been in the cave? I think you've gone crazy from hunger and can't hold on anymore, right? The old man from the all-pleasure sect laughed loudly. His face was full of excitement. Brat, how dare you call Vice Sect Master Lu and Vice Hall Master Gua by their names? Obediently hand over the things you obtained in the cave, or you will die without a doubt. I'm not afraid to tell you that the Heavenly Demon Palace and He Huan sect have joined forces to attack the Changsun sect. I'm afraid the Changsun sect has already been destroyed. The elder from Heavenly Demon Palace said coldly. He stared at Ling Xiao as though he was staring at his prey. Both of them thought that Ling Xiao must have starved for 10 days in the cave and came out because he could not take it anymore. Although Ling Xiao was strong, there was a limit to his strength. With their cultivation at the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm, they could easily suppress Ling Xiao. The Heavenly Demon Palace and He Huan sect have already attacked the Changsun sect? When did this happen? Ling Xiao's expression changed as he asked coldly. He started to panic. He did not expect the thing he was worried about to happen. He had been cultivating in the Immortal's cave for 10 days. Today. Kid, I think you're asking for it. Don't waste your breath on him. Let's go and take him down. The old man from the All-Pleasure sect glanced at the old man from the Demonic Palace and shouted as he charged towards Ling Xiao. Boom! The elder of the He Huan sect unleashed his innate true qi and struck out with his palm. Pink mist filled the air and emitted a kind of qi that made people feel dizzy. Palm shadows filled the sky and were as fast as lightning. Each palm contained a godly power that could shatter gold and shatter stone. This was the peerless profound martial art of He Huan sect, 1,000 illusory palms. With a single strike, countless afterimages were formed. It could pull people into an illusion and kill people without leaving a trace. It was extremely vicious. The elder from Heavenly Demon Palace also struck out with his fist. Demonic qi gushed out as though a huge heavenly demon had descended. It contained a dark and domineering strength. The peerless profound martial art of Heavenly Demon Palace, Heavenly Demon Fist. The two of them had seen Ling Xiao's combat strength before and naturally did not underestimate him. Therefore, they used their killing moves right away. They wanted to capture Ling Xiao with lightning speed. The two level 9 Dragon Tiger realm experts struck at the same time. Their innate true Kong swept across the sky with great momentum. Boom! The 1,000 illusory palms and Heavenly Demon Fist's powerful attack instantly landed on Ling Xiao and drowned him. Oh no! However, in the next moment, their expressions changed as they exclaimed at the same time. The two of them did not hit Ling Xiao at all. It was just an afterimage. Ling Xiao had disappeared without them noticing. Chapter 74. What? How is this possible? That's impossible. The eyes of the old man from the All-Pleasure sect revealed an incomparably horrified expression, and his voice began to tremble. At this moment, Ling Xiao's aura was monstrous as if he was an awakened primordial ferocious beast. He was emitting a monstrous murderous aura and killing intent. He had actually killed a powerhouse in the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm with a single punch. The old man from the All-Pleasure sect found it hard to believe and a feeling of extreme fear welled up in his heart. The young man before him gave him an extremely unreal feeling. A young man who was not even 16 years old was actually able to kill a powerhouse in the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm with a single punch. Didn't that mean that he already had the battle prowess of a grandmaster? A 15-year-old grandmaster. Just thinking about it made one's heart tremble. This kid must have obtained some benefits in the Immortal's cave. He must escape and report to the sect. When Ling Xiao's gaze landed on him, he couldn't help but shiver. He turned around and ran. If he continued to stay here, he would definitely end up like the elder from the Demonic Palace. The old man from the Demonic Palace rushed out of the mine like a bolt of lightning. He had pushed his cultivation to the extreme, bringing with him the sound of the wind. Want to leave? It's too late. Ling Xiao's indifferent voice rang out. He took a step forward and the sound of a dragon's roar reverberated. His majestic true qi seemed to have turned into a misty cloud, leaving behind an afterimage. Ling Xiao had already chased after the old man. The Cloud Dragon 9 transformations was originally a powerful movement martial art created by an ancient almighty after observing the divine dragon soaring through the clouds. Although it wasn't as terrifying as the divine dragon's speed, it still contained a trace of the true meaning of the divine dragons soaring through the sky. In addition, Ling Xiao had cultivated the Flood Dragon's body and had already transcended the mortal world. It complemented the Cloud Dragon 9 transformations perfectly. In just a few moves, Ling Xiao arrived behind the old man from the All-Pleasure sect. Feeling the wind behind him, the old man from the All-Pleasure sect was scared out of his wits. He unleashed his innate true qi without any hesitation. At the same time, he pulled out a sharp spiritual weapon longsword and slashed at Ling Xiao. He didn't hope to kill Ling Xiao. He only hoped to buy a little more time for him to escape from the mine. But it was still too late. Rumble. Launching the Vajra subduing devil fist, Ling Xiao's unparalleled physical strength blasted out. The spiritual longsword was directly smashed into pieces by Ling Xiao, and the innate true aura that shot at Ling Xiao's body was like shooting at glass, emitting a crisp tinkling sound. No! The all-pleasure sect elder's eyes were filled with fear as he roared. However, after a few punches, he was killed just like the demonic palace elder. Ling Xiao's eyes flickered as he discovered two palm-sized storage bags on the two old men. These two old men were not ordinary. They actually had a storage pouch. Although the storage pouch only had a few feet of space, it was still very impressive. After all, storage treasures were hard to find. Usually, only Grandmaster Realm experts would have a storage treasure. Ling Xiao put the two storage pouches into his longevity ring and flew out of the mine. Nothing must happen to Changsun sect. Wait for me. Ling Xiao's heart was filled with anxiety, and a murderous look appeared in his eyes. After he left the spiritual stone mine, he quickly used the Cloud Dragon 9 transformation technique and headed towards Changsun Mountain. Changsun Mountain, the setting sun was like blood. The afterglow of the setting sun shone on the Changsun Square, and the wind seemed to have frozen. A faint smell of blood permeated the air, reflecting the panicked faces of the crowd. The disciples of Changsun sect were all in white robes bathed in blood. They held long swords in their hands and slowly retreated to the front of Changsun Hall. Nan Gongqing, Zuozhen, Jian Wuk, Deng Yalan, Lu Chuanxiong, Gu Zhong. All the disciples of Changsun sect were furious as they stared at the group of people in front of them. Nan Gongxian was surrounded by them. His white robes were stained with blood, and his face was extremely pale. There was even a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth, and his breathing was extremely chaotic. Opposite them was a group of people in black robes and a group of people in yin-yang Taoist robes. Their breathing was cold, and their eyes were cold and murderous. They stared at the people of Changsun sect as if they were looking at lambs waiting to be slaughtered. The two people in the lead stood there, and a violent aura exploded. It was as if they could split the heavens and earth apart, and their figures were extremely tall and straight. On the left was a burly man in black robes. His muscles exuded explosive power, and black demonic qi surged, making him look like a god. His breathing was extremely wild, and his eyes were filled with aggression and murderous intent. The innate energy around him was hidden, as if he was one with the heavens and earth. He was the palace master of Heavenly Demon Palace, Yun Badian. On the right was a handsome young man who looked to be in his 20s. He wore a long robe embroidered with flowers, and his body emitted waves of fragrance. His face was extremely charming, and his pair of phoenix eyes shone with a cold light, making him look extremely sinister, like a poisonous snake. Those who knew him would know that he was already in his 50s or 60s, but he relied on an evil technique to maintain his appearance. He was the sect master of all pleasure sect, Yin Kuei. The two of them stood there casually, and the disciples of Changsun sect felt as if the heavens and earth were pressing down on them. Their faces turned pale, as if they were facing a great enemy. Yun Badian, Yin Kuei, are you really going to fight to the death with my Changsun sect? Nangong Xian coughed violently as he stared at Yun Badian and Yin Kuei, and said coldly. At the same time, he looked at the corpses on the Changsun Square, and his heart was bleeding. Most of them were disciples of Changsun sect, and they were slaughtered by All Pleasure sect and Heavenly Demon Palace just like that. The attack of All Pleasure sect and Heavenly Demon Palace came like a storm, catching everyone off guard. In addition, Changsun sect was weaker than the other two sects, so after a huge battle, Changsun sect suffered heavy casualties, and the remaining disciples were forced to the front of Changsun Hall. They couldn't retreat any further, because behind them was a cliff. Fight to the death? Is Changsun sect qualified to do that? Yun Batian sneered and said with disdain. Right now, the Changsun sect's master realm experts were all severely injured, and the Dragon Tiger Realm elders were severely injured. Only a few disciples were left who were still resisting. In the eyes of He Huan sect and Sky Demon Palace, the Changsun sect was like a fish on a chopping board. Nangong Xian, surrender now. With your talent, Palace Master Yun and Sect Master Yin will definitely put you in an important position. As long as you surrender, the disciples of Changsun sect will be safe. Do you really want to kill them? Beside Yun Batian, a dignified old man with silver hair sneered. Shut up. Chapter 75. Lin Shan, I hate that I didn't kill you earlier, you bastard. You actually destroyed the sect-protecting formation of the Changsun sect and betrayed us. You are the sinner of the Changsun sect. The sky-devouring Supreme Patriarch is watching you, and so is the Longevity Supreme Patriarch. Even if I die, I won't let you off. Nangong Xian's voice was bone-chillingly cold. Due to his anger, an abnormal flush appeared on his face, and a trace of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. At this point, Nangong Xian's heart was filled with regret. Initially, he didn't punish Lin Shan because he was the Grand Elder of the Changsun sect and had contributed a lot to the sect. He only asked Lin Shan to reflect on his actions. However, he didn't expect Lin Shan to collude with the Demonic Palace and the He Huan sect. Not only did they destroy the sect-protecting formation of the Changsun sect, but they also ambushed Nangong Xian and injured him. That was why the disciples of the Changsun sect were massacred. Father, are you all right? Nangong Qin hurried forward to support Nangong Xian. Her eyes were red, and she looked extremely worried. She had also experienced a bitter battle. Her white clothes were stained with blood, and even her snow-white arms had a few ghastly wounds. I'm fine. It's been hard on you. Father is useless and can't save you. However, with Ling Xiao around, the Changsun sect won't be destroyed. He will definitely kill the Demonic Palace and He Huan sect to avenge us. Nangong Xian looked at Nangong Qin with a benevolent and guilty expression. Father, I'm not afraid of death. To be able to die together with her father, Qing'e would have no regrets. I also believe that he will definitely avenge us. Nangong Qin shook her head, and a heart-wrenching smile appeared on her pale face. For some reason, Nangong Qin thought of the Purple Moon Lake in the fearsome Beast Mountain range. When she first met Ling Xiao, he saw her naked body, and she was so angry that she chased after him. She thought of the young man in the purple bamboo forest. When he teased her, the moonlight shone on his face. It was really beautiful. However, she probably wouldn't be able to see him again. Nangong Qin's gaze was a little dazed, and a strange feeling emerged in her heart. Ling Xiao? You're still counting on him when you're about to die? Lu Guanjie, who was standing beside Yin Kuei, let out an ear-piercing voice and sneered. He killed my sect's elder Mayan and killed my sect's disciples. If he didn't run fast enough, he would have been killed by me. However, so what if he was hiding in the immortal cave? 10 days had passed. He was probably half dead from hunger, right? After we destroy the Longevity sect, we will attack the immortal cave and send that brat to accompany you. You can't kill him. He is the most miraculous person I've ever seen. When he was at the Channel Opening Realm, he defeated someone at the Spirit Transformation Realm. When he was at the True Energy Realm, he killed someone at the 9th level of the Spirit Transformation Realm and Ma Yen at the Dragon Tiger Realm. Once he reaches the Spirit Transformation Realm, what kind of miracle will he create? You can never imagine how great his potential is. The celestial being's cave abode might be a cage to you, but to him, it might be a sea that transforms into a divine dragon. That's right. The saint would never be defeated. Not in the past and never in the future. Bastards of the Demonic Palace and all pleasure sect, just wait for your deaths. So what if this young master dies? It won't be long before the Holy Sun makes you all accompany me in death. As long as the saint doesn't die, he will live forever. Lu Chuanxiong, Deng Yalin, and the other disciples' eyes that were filled with despair were now filled with vigor. It was as if all of them were roaring out their inner cries. That delicate and handsome figure had created one impossibility after another, completing one miracle after another. Everyone believed in him without any reason. All the disciples of the longevity sect silently picked up the long swords on the ground. They clenched their fists and looked forward. It was as if they wanted to pour all of their lives into the long swords in their hands. Everyone's battle intent fused together and gathered into a mysterious force that could shatter the void and destroy the clouds. Have you all decided to die? Since they are so stubborn, let's kill them all. In Kuei, who had been silent all this while, looked at the people of the longevity sect and laughed coldly. He waved his hand and said, "Kill! Kill!" It was as if two torrents had collided with each other, creating a huge wave. Blood mist surged and killing intent shot up to the heavens. It was the final elegy of the longevity sect. Immortality! Immortality! At this moment, Ling Xiao, who had already arrived at the foot of the longevity sect, trembled when he heard these words. His eyes were filled with intense killing intent. Not good. Ling Xiao activated the Cloud Dragon's 9 transformations to the maximum. Like a dragon, he darted through the clouds and headed towards the peak of the longevity mountain. Ling Xiao was extremely anxious and furious. However, the more he was like this, the calmer his eyes were. The sharpness of his gaze seemed to be able to pierce through everything. Longevity investiture of the gods, purple heavenly thunder, follow me to kill. Ling Xiao formed a seal with both hands and used his mental strength to activate a mysterious force in the longevity mountain. At the same time, the true qi in his body seemed to have turned into dazzling golden runes and scattered in all directions. Light rain filled the air and the mountain shook. A strange ripple slowly spread out. It was as if a slumbering primordial beast had slowly opened its eyes that could destroy all things. Trying to destroy the longevity investiture of the gods? Damn it! Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. He felt that the fluctuation of the formation was a little obscure, as if it was being suppressed by some kind of power. Ling Xiao finally knew why the Heavenly Demon Palace and the Hehuan sect were able to kill their way up the longevity mountain without any obstructions. It was because someone had destroyed the longevity investiture of the gods. The person who knew the secret of the longevity investiture of the gods and was able to tamper with it was obviously Lin Shan. Since you're courting death, I'll send you on your way. You're just a mere master. You want to destroy the longevity investiture of the gods that I've set up? You must be dreaming. Ling Zhao's eyes were filled with blood-red killing intent. The true qi in his body exploded without restraint. His hand seals became faster and faster, and golden runes scattered in all directions. Boom! It was as if the earth and mountains were shaking. A destructive fluctuation erupted. Thunder boomed in the void, and millions of purple lightning bolts enveloped the longevity mountain. When those purple lightning bolts landed on Ling Zhao's body, they instantly became extremely obedient. They turned into a huge purple lightning dragon and carried Ling Xiao all the way to the peak of the longevity mountain. Riding the dragon and soaring into the sky, breaking through the heavens. At this moment, Ling Xiao was stepping on the purple lightning bolts. His black hair fluttered in the wind, and his eyes were piercingly cold. His entire body was shrouded in golden light, and he exuded a majestic aura. He was like a peerless god of war. At this moment, Ling Zhao's battle intent and killing intent had accumulated to the maximum. The lightning bolts in the sky moved according to his will, turning the longevity mountain into a land of lightning. Kill Lin Shan. Destroy the Hehuan sect. Destroy the Heavenly Demon Palace. Destroy all the enemies in the world who dare to go against me. Chapter 76. On top of the longevity mountain. The clouds seemed to have turned blood red. The setting sun shone down, illuminating a tragic azure hell. Even though the longevity sect disciples were prepared to die and unleashed 120% of their strength, there were still many casualties under the joint attack of the all-pleasure sect and demonic palace. The difference was too great. Seeing the longevity sect disciples lying in pools of blood, Nangong Xian, the great elder, and the others' eyes turned red. They ignored their injuries and burned their blood essence to kill the experts of the two sections. However, They were quickly stopped by Yun Batian and Yin Kuei. Although Nangong Qing, Jian Wuk, Zhuizhen, Deng Yalan, and the others were extremely talented, they were only at the spirit transformation realm. When the Dragon Tiger realm elders attacked, they were instantly surrounded by danger. Boom! Lu Guanjie charged over, his innate true energy raining down like swords. Nangong Qing, Jian Wuk, and the others were struck by lightning. They all spat out mouthfuls of blood and were sent flying. Their eyes were dim. Are we going to die just like that? A sad smile appeared on Nangong Qing's beautiful face. The sword in her hand fell and she slowly closed her eyes. Rumble! But just at this moment, the Longevity Mountain trembled violently as thunder crackled in the skies. Thereafter, an unparalleled aura that seemed capable of annihilating the entire world enveloped the entire Longevity sect. Purple lightning flashed and gathered into a purple sky. It emitted a violent and mysterious aura that filled the Longevity Mountain. Following that, a dragon's roar reverberated through the sky. In the sky filled with lightning, a figure stepped on a purple lightning dragon. His robes fluttered in the wind and he was extremely domineering. He hugged Nangong Qing, who was in midair. Longevity God's sealing array. Ling Xiao is back. Nangong Xian's body trembled. His eyes were filled with excitement. Saint? It's the saint. The saint is back. We're saved. Pa, I knew the saint wouldn't give up on us. Bastards of the all-pleasure sect and demonic palace, wait for your deaths. When the disciples of Changsun sect saw the figure in the sky, their eyes were filled with shock and excitement as they cheered loudly. The purple lightning dragon traversed the void, exuding a world-destroying pressure. Lightning filled the sky, shaking the heavens. On the other hand, Ling Xiao stood on top of the lightning dragon, enveloped in golden light. His hair fluttered in the wind, and his straight body seemed to be able to support the heavens and earth. Ling Xiao's appearance was so cool that it shocked everyone. It had to be said that the effect of such an appearance was extremely good. It was as if the Changsun sect's members were injected with adrenaline, causing them to be filled with endless confidence. As for the people from the all-pleasure sect and demonic palace, they were all intimidated by Lei Long's might. Their faces changed greatly as they revealed terrified expressions. How is that possible? I clearly destroyed the sect protecting Grand Array, so how could he reactivate it? Lin Shan's expression changed drastically as a look of disbelief appeared in his eyes. Moreover, Lin Shan's scalp went numb at the thought of the mysterious power of the Great Sect Protection Formation. The Longevity God Sealing Formation was set up by the Sky-Devouring Sovereign and Longevity Sovereign. It was said that 10,000 years ago, it could kill gods and demons. 10,000 years later, although the power of the Great Sect Protection Formation had been greatly weakened, it was still extremely terrifying. It was said that 500 years ago, the Changsun sect had an extremely tragic battle. In that battle, the sect leader activated the Longevity God Sealing Formation with all his might and killed a Noble Realm expert and 7 Sky Realm experts. Isn't he trapped in the Immortals' cave abode? Why is he here? Could it be? Lu Guanjie's face turned extremely ugly as he guessed that the 2 elders who were at the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm had probably died in Ling Xiao's hands. The current Ling Xiao did not hide his cultivation at all. He had already reached the 3rd level of the spirit transformation realm. Lu Guanjie was incomparably terrified by the speed of his cultivation. In just 10 days, he had risen from the True Qi realm to the 3rd level of the spirit transformation realm. If he was given another year or so, wouldn't he be able to reach the Grandmaster realm? He had to kill this kid. He could not be allowed to continue growing. Hearing the cheers coming from all around, Nangong Qing suddenly opened her eyes. What entered her sight was that familiar and delicate young man. Nangong Qing stared at him in a daze and revealed a smile that made the heavens and earth pale in comparison. He was finally back. How great! Ling Xiao also smiled and said, I'm back. I'll bring you to kill someone. Nangong Qing nodded as a smile blossomed on her delicate face. You're Ling Xiao? Yun Baishan's cold voice sounded. Kid, it seems like you've obtained quite a lot of benefits from the Sky Realm Cave. If you hand over the treasures you obtained from the Sky Realm Cave and give me the secret method to control the Changsan sect's Great Sect Protection Formation, I'll spare your life. How about it? Yun Baishan's face revealed a hint of greed. The purple lightning that filled the sky made him faintly feel a trace of threat. If he could control the Great Sect Protection Formation, the demonic palace would probably surpass the All-Pleasure sect and become the strongest sect. However, he did not see that the corner of Ling Zhao's mouth revealed a hint of mockery. Yin Kuei also smiled and said, "What a handsome young man. I really want to hold you in my arms and dote on you. Kid, why don't you join my All-Pleasure sect? I guarantee that you'll be the holy son of my All-Pleasure sect and the future sect master of my All-Pleasure sect. All of you must die." Ling Xiao slowly said as a trace of a cold smile appeared in his eyes. Ling Xiao, don't think that you can be so arrogant just because you control the Great Sect Protection Formation. You're only at the Spirit Transformation realm. If the two sect masters take action, you'll die without a doubt. Why don't you surrender now? Lin Shan also sternly shouted. Old dog, do you know? The person I want to kill the most is you. Ling Xiao looked at Lin Shan as boundless killing intent burst out from his eyes. A bolt of purple heaven divine lightning was like a heavenly pillar that emitted endless destructive pressure as it blasted towards Lin Shan. How dare you? Lin Shan was shocked and angry at the same time. The heavenly thunder of purple heaven made his scalp tingle. But in the blink of an eye, it was already in front of him. He hurriedly activated his cultivation and unleashed his innate true gang towards the heavenly thunder of purple heaven. Kacha! The purple lightning exploded, shattering Lin Shan's innate true Kong almost instantly, and then landed on his body. Lightning flashed and Lin Shan's hair was disheveled after being struck by the lightning. He was in an extremely sorry state. Kill him. Yun Batian and Yin Kuei looked at each other and a trace of killing intent flashed in their eyes. They leaped up at the same time and charged towards Ling Xiao. Chapter 77. Ling Xiao, watch out. Nangong Xian and the First Elder exclaimed as their expressions changed. Although they were confident in Ling Xiao, Yun Batian and Yin Kuei were both at the 5th level of the Grandmaster realm, which was much higher than Ling Xiao. If they really succeeded, then the sect protection formation would really be broken. Purple heavenly thunder, 10,000 thunderbolts. Ling Xiao pointed at Yun Batian and Yin Kuei with a cold look. Boom! The lightning dragon beneath his feet seemed to be enraged. A shocking killing intent appeared in its purple eyes. It then spat out a blazing purple lightning bolt towards Yun Batian and Yin Kuei. At the same time, the sea of purple thunderbolts in the sky boiled. Huge bolts of purple heavenly thunder fell from the sky like a purple galaxy. It was dazzling and instantly drowned the two. Demonic Tyrant Fist. Yin Yang Sky Splitting Palm. Yun Batian and Yin Kuei's eyes turned solemn. They both roared at the same time and unleashed their trump cards. The Demonic Tyrant Fist was the most powerful martial art in the Demonic Palace. It was a lower earth-level martial art. Under Yun Baishan's Grandmaster Realm cultivation, the sky was filled with demonic chi. The huge fist aura seemed to have come from the 9 Serenities Hell. It contained a domineering and terrifying power as it went to meet the purple heavenly thunder. The Yin-Yang Sky-Splitting Palm was also an earth-level lower-grade martial art. When the Yin Sunflower attacked, it was ethereal and traceless, and its Tao was natural. A huge Yin-Yang millstone appeared in the void, showing the shape of a palm, as if it wanted to obliterate all life. It was also heading toward Ling Xiao. The two grandmasters attacked at the same time. The power of heaven and earth was vast and boundless. It seemed like it was going to resist the purple heavenly thunder. Boom! The void shook violently and the sky shook. Endless light exploded, as if a small sun had exploded. The purple heavenly thunder was broken by Yun Batian and Yin Kuei's powerful martial art. Although they were blown away by the violent power of the purple heavenly thunder, they did not suffer any injuries. 10,000 years have passed. Has the longevity god's sealing array become so weak? Ling Xiao sighed softly, but the coldness in his eyes became even more intense. You can withstand the purple heaven divine thunder, But what about the others? Yun Bat-in and Yin Kuei's expressions changed drastically when they heard this. Their cold gazes landed on Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao, how dare you? If you dare to make a move, my He Huan sect will fight you to the death. Ling Xiao scoffed and said, aren't we at odds with each other in the first place? Purple heaven godly thunder, 10,000 thunderbolts strike. As Ling Xiao spoke, the entire Longevity Mountain began to tremble. The sea of purple lightning in the sky was enraged, producing loud rumbling sounds. Boom! Boom! Huge purple light pillars that contained a tyrannical destructive power poured down like roaring thunder dragons towards the people of the Hehuan sect and the demonic palace. The dazzling lightning was like the aurora of heaven and earth, dazzling everyone. But in this beautiful scenery, there was a strong sense of danger. Bang! A disciple of the all-pleasure sect was struck by the purple heaven godly lightning. He didn't even have time to scream before he exploded into a bloody mist. Miserable cries could be heard as the disciples of the demonic palace were turned into ashes by the purple heaven godly lightning. Even the elders of the dragon tiger realm were in a sorry state. Their eyes were filled with fear. They weren't like the grandmasters who could use the power of heaven and earth for their own use. They could only rely on their innate true Kong to resist the purple heaven godly lightning. But how could the power of heaven and earth be resisted by humans? Not long after, some of the Dragon Tiger Realm experts were struck by the purple heaven godly lightning. Their bodies were charred black, and they died screaming in agony. Under the purple heaven godly lightning, the Longevity Mountain seemed to have turned into hell. No one could escape from the purple heaven godly lightning. Yun Bat-in Yin Kuei and the others' eyes turned red instantly. These were the elite disciples of the all-pleasure sect and the demonic palace. Seeing them die one by one under the purple heaven godly lightning made their hearts bleed. If they allowed Ling Xiao to continue killing, wouldn't they all be alone? Ling Xiao, give me your life. Yun Bat-in roared as he gathered his true qi. His entire body was like a black stream of light, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. Everyone, let's kill this brat together. Otherwise, we'll all die. Lin Shan roared as he soared into the sky like a rock. He used the 7 stars transforming moonsword, and 7 cold rays of light shrouded Ling Xiao. Then Yin Kuei, Lu Guanjie, and the 3 elders of the Grandmaster realm rushed forward. 7 Grandmasters. Everyone seemed to be fighting with their lives on the line as they charged toward Ling Xiao. So what if you all attack together? In my eyes, you're all just chickens and dogs. Ling Xiao laughed loudly. His heroic spirit soared to the sky, and his entire body exuded an incomparably violent aura. Behind him, Nan Gongqing's eyes lit up. Fall of the Longevity Sword, Purple Heaven Thunder, explode. Following Ling Xiao's roar, the lightning rays in the sky changed again. A dazzling sword ray that seemed to have come from the 9 heavens tore through the sky. The Milky Way fell, and a dazzling cold light flashed. The entire Longevity Mountain began to tremble as the sword intent that seemed to be able to destroy the world swept across the land. The dazzling sword ray instantly transformed into billions of sword qi. In the sky, the Longevity sword qi and the Purple Heaven heavenly thunder separated as if they were 2 different domains. At this moment, they suddenly merged together and shrouded the 7 Grandmasters. How is this possible? How can the Longevity sect's protective array be so terrifying? What kind of sword formation is this? How can it possess such a powerful sword intent? Yun Bat-in and Yin Kuei's expressions changed drastically. Their eyes were filled with disbelief as their hearts began to tremble. Although the Purple Heaven heavenly thunder had put them in a difficult position, they were still able to withstand it. However, the Longevity sword qi that shrouded the land made them feel the threat of death. At this moment, Ling Xiao controlled the Longevity sword qi and bathed in the Purple Heaven heavenly thunder. As brilliant as the heavenly thunder, he was like an emperor who controlled the heavenly Tao, forever imprinted in everyone's hearts. All of the disciples of Changsun sect were filled with fervent adoration at this moment. At this moment, Yu Mu was forever imprinted in their hearts. Even after countless years, they would not be able to forget it. Longevity God's Sealing Array. This is the real Longevity God's Sealing Array. Nangong Xian muttered to himself as his body trembled. His eyes shone with endless sharpness. Swoosh, swoosh, boom, boom. Chapter 78. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed coldly. Blood qi surged from his body as he activated the violent dragon super skill. The evil-slaying ancient sword fell into his hand and burst out with boundless light. Infinity Sword of Light. This was the first time Ling Zhao had used the Infinity Sword of Light. The sword essence that filled the sky seemed to have been taken over by the evil-slaying ancient sword. Bathed in purple lightning, he charged toward one of the seven masters. A blood-red light flashed as Lin Shan was struck by the sword qi and lightning. Even though his innate true Kong was extremely powerful, it was still shattered in an instant, leaving bloody scars on his body, making him look extremely miserable. How can this little bastard activate the complete sect protection formation? How can the sect protection formation be so powerful? Lin Shan trembled as he gritted his teeth. His hatred for Ling Zhao had reached its peak. Blocking the longevity sword qi and purple sky divine lightning caused him to feel fear and regret. Swoosh. However, at this moment, a sword light that emitted boundless light, as if it was the first sword light that split the world apart, pierced through the darkness and arrived in front of him in an instant. Lin Shan was scared out of his wits. He quickly mobilized his cultivation to block the attack and sent a palm toward the sword. The sword light flashed and a bloody mist flashed. Although Lin Shan dodged the fatal attack at the critical moment, it still left a trace of blood on his neck. Ling Zhao, it's you? Lin Shan roared. After the light flashed, Ling Zhao, who was standing on a thunder dragon, appeared. At this moment, Ling Zhao was holding the evil-slaying ancient sword and his eyes were filled with cold, killing intent. You deserve to die for deceiving your master. Ling Zhao said indifferently. Boundless light flashed again and shot toward Lin Shan's glabella. Even if I die, I'll take you with me. Lin Shan bellowed, a ferocious look on his face. At that very moment, he was in an extremely dangerous situation. The longevity sword beam and purple sky divine lightning were already difficult for him to deal with. However, the evil-slaying ancient sword in Ling Zhao's hand made him feel a fatal threat. Boom! He did not dodge. Instead, a long sword with overwhelming spiritual qi appeared in his hand. He used the 7 stars transforming moon sword. 7 sword qi formed by starlight slashed toward Ling Zhao. It was a suicidal attack. The explosive power of the Xiantian qi shield was astonishing, and it slashed Ling Zhao's body almost instantly. Lin Shan was overjoyed, but in the next moment, his soul almost left his body. The 7 streaks of starlight sword qi had actually only struck Ling Zhao's afterimage, while Ling Zhao's real body had already flashed behind him at some point. Cloud Dragon's 9 transformations, myriad transformations. The immeasurable light sword stabbed out with extreme speed. The evil extermination sword in Ling Zhao's hand instantly pierced through Lin Shan's chest. How is this possible? Lin Shan's eyeballs popped out of their sockets. His face was filled with disbelief as he fell to the ground, dead. An evolved Jing master was dead. First one. Ling Zhao said indifferently. His cold gaze landed on Lu Guanjie in the distance. What? Yun Batian, Yin Kuei, and the rest of the 6 grandmasters were shocked. They didn't expect Ling Zhao to kill Lin Shan so quickly. Lin Shan's cultivation was at the 4th stage of the grandmaster realm. He was only slightly weaker than Yun Batian and Yin Kuei. However, under the full power of the immortal god sealing array, the immortal sword qi, and the purple heaven lightning, Yun Batian and the rest couldn't even protect themselves. How could they have the time to care about others? In addition, Ling Zhao's Cloud Dragon's 9 transformations was incomparably fast, and the purple heaven lightning dragon gave Ling Zhao the ability to fly. There was no way they could join forces to kill Ling Zhao. Ling Zhao flew across the sky, the immeasurable light sword shining brightly. The evil extermination sword was a high-grade bejeweled weapon, and its power was unparalleled. The two complemented each other even more. Although Ling Zhao's cultivation was only at the third stage of the spirit transformation realm, under the full power of the heaven-devouring secret technique, all the spiritual energy in Zhou Tian surged over, ensuring that Ling Zhao's true qi would never dry up. Don't kill me, don't kill me. Seeing that Lin Shan was killed, Lu Guanjie no longer had any fighting spirit. His eyes were filled with incomparable fear. Even Lin Shan, who was at the fourth stage of the Grandmaster realm, was no match for Ling Xiao. He was only at the second stage of the Grandmaster realm. He probably had no chance at all. Ling Zhao's eyes were cold. Lu Guanjie had chased after him in the spirit stone mine and even seriously injured him. Ling Xiao showed no mercy to him. A few bright sword rays flashed. Although Lu Guanjie tried his best to defend, he had already lost his will to fight. Ling Xiao seized the opportunity and pierced his throat, killing him instantly. The second Grandmaster was dead. After two Grandmasters were killed in succession, the remaining people were scared out of their wits. They wanted to escape at all costs. As for the people from Changsun sect below, their eyes were filled with fanaticism and admiration. Those were Grandmasters. They were Grandmasters who could establish their own sect. They had comprehended the power of heaven and earth and had condensed the innate true Kong. Yet they were all killed by Ling Xiao like vegetables. One had to admit that such a scene was extremely shocking. And you guys? Ling Zhao's gaze landed on the three elders who were at the first stage of the Grandmaster realm. He stepped on the lightning dragon and soared through the sky. The three elders were only at the first stage of the Grandmaster realm. After being tortured by the eternal sword qi and purple heavenly lightning, they could only bitterly resist. How could they resist Ling Xiao? Three resplendent sword beams of light shot out and pierced through the three men's foreheads, killing them instantly. In just a few moments, 5 Grandmasters were killed. The Changsun mountain was silent. Everyone looked at the figure in the void in awe, dumbfounded. Only the sword radiance and the roaring of the heavenly thunder of purple heaven could be heard. Almost all the disciples and elders of the He Huan sect and the demonic palace were killed by the purple heavenly lightning. Occasionally, there were a few who survived with serious injuries, but they were all captured by the disciples of the Changsun sect. In the sky, only Yun Badian and Yin Kuei were still resisting the eternal sword qi and purple heavenly lightning. Seeing that the He Huan sect and the demonic palace were annihilated, their eyes turned bloodshot. Ling Xiao, I'll capture you and make you beg for death. Little bastard, I'm going to kill you. Yun Badian and Yin Kuei roared as if they had gone mad. They looked at Ling Xiao with eyes full of hatred. Is that so? Both of you can't even protect yourselves. Where did you get the courage to kill me? Ling Xiao sneered. With the evil-slaying ancient sword in his hand and the purple heavenly lightning dragon under his feet, he flew towards the two of them. The ancient sword was snow-white and emitted a cold light. Ling Zhao's aura rose to the maximum. His blood qi surged and filled the air, locking Yun Badian and Yin Kuei in place. Yun Badian and Yin Kuei suddenly laughed. Ling Xiao, do you know why we destroyed the Changsun sect? Chapter 79. What's the reason? Ling Xiao frowned, sensing that something was wrong with the two men before him. It's not just because you're so talented that our two sects feel threatened. The more important reason is that someone wants to destroy the Changsun sect. Yun Badian laughed maniacally. Ha! Ling Xiao, wait for your death. Just then Yun Badian and Yin Kuei spat out a mouthful of blood at the same time. The blood flashed and gathered in the air, forming the shadow of a ferocious beast. Elder Kunsh, please. The two of them roared, their eyes filled with fanaticism. Kunsh! Ling Zhao's expression changed. He could sense a dangerous aura heading towards the Changsun sect at an extremely fast speed. Without hesitation, the purple heaven lightning dragon beneath his feet moved and retreated rapidly. Boom! Suddenly, a massive, sky-surging hand descended from the sky, containing a ferocious and sky-surging malevolent energy. Instantly, the longevity sword beam and purple sky divine lightning were reduced to nothingness. A figure stepped through the void and stood in the sky above the longevity mountain. He looked down with an indifferent expression. It was an old man with white hair. He wore a black robe, embroidered with a ferocious beast that could devour the sun and devour the sky. He exuded an aura that shook the heavens. His eyes were especially cold. When they landed on people, it was as if they could see through their souls, causing everyone's expression to change drastically. Celestial Realm. Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a trace of seriousness as he slowly spat out 3 words. The Grandmaster Realm was just the beginning to understand the power of heaven and earth, the connection between heaven and man, and the power of heaven and earth. The next step was to become one with heaven and man, where one spirit would merge with heaven and earth, mobilizing the power of heaven and earth. One could fly in the air, ride on clouds, and even spit out lightning, evolving into wind, fire, and thunder. It was terrifying. Therefore, experts in the celestial realm were also known as immortals. Every celestial realm expert had comprehended their realm to perfection, evolving their own profound martial arts. Every move they made had inhuman strength. Who would have thought that a celestial realm expert would appear in the Changsun sect? Ling Zhao's words caused Nangong Xian, the Great Elder, and the others' expressions to change drastically. A trace of fear appeared in their eyes. Elder Kun, he is Ling Xiao, the holy son of the longevity sect. He is able to activate the complete longevity god sealing great formation. We suspect that he should know what you want. After Yun Bat-yin and Yin Kuei broke free from the immortality god seal formation, they were overjoyed. They ran towards Kun Shi and bowed respectfully. Trash, you can't even handle such a small matter. Kun Shi coldly shouted as his indifferent gaze fell on the 2 of them. Elder Kun, please spare us. We were already on the verge of destroying the longevity sect. However, this kid Ling Xiao is too strange. He can actually mobilize the power of the great longevity god seal array. Yun Bat-yin and Yin Kuei's faces were filled with terror as they hurriedly kowtowed. For you. Ling Xiao stood on the purple cloud lightning dragon, facing Kun Shi from afar and said coldly, Puma, you bunch of ants don't deserve to know. Kid, you can actually mobilize the power of the immortality god seal array. You really do have a secret. Are you going to surrender or wait for me to make a move? Kun Shi sneered as he stared at Ling Xiao as if he was staring at his prey. Eh? You're just a celestial being. You're not a noble nor an emperor. What's there to be arrogant about? You're just an old dog from the Wanshou sect. How dare you show off in front of the longevity sect? Ling Xiao sneered as he stared at Kun Shi. He did not back down at all. Kid, you know who I am? Looks like I can't let you live today. Everyone in the longevity sect will be buried with you. Kun Shi was shocked. Clearly, he did not expect Ling Xiao to have guessed his identity. He was instantly filled with killing intent. Wanshou sect? The Wanshou sect that broke into the longevity mountain 500 years ago? Is it also the holy land of martial arts, the Wanshou sect? The first elder seemed to have thought of something. His eyes were filled with shock and anger. He once read about it in the sect's records. The longevity sect 500 years ago was not as weak as it was now. They even had a few celestial beings. It was because the Wanshou sect invaded the longevity sect 500 years ago and a bloody battle broke out. After that, the longevity sect's legacy was cut off and they slowly declined. Who would have thought that they would meet someone from the Wanshou sect again? They were the legendary celestial beings. They could travel in the air and had unfathomable power. How could the longevity sect defend against them? The first elder and Nangong Xian looked at each other and felt helpless. Was the longevity sect's legacy really going to be cut off in their hands? However, they did not know why, but when they saw the young man standing on the purple cloud lightning dragon in the sky, a glimmer of hope appeared in their hearts. Kill me? Do you believe that I can decapitate you immediately and kill you without a burial place? Ling Xiao sneered as a cold light flashed in his eyes. Kill me without a burial place? Kid, I think you're scared out of your wits? It's just the immortal god sealing formation. If it was at its peak, I would naturally retreat. But now, it can't even kill a master of the Grandmaster realm. Do you think it can deal with me just by itself? Kun Shi laughed and his eyes were filled with mockery. You can try if you don't believe me. Ling Xiao said indifferently and his expression was extremely calm. Kid, don't bluff. If I want you dead, no one in the great wilderness ancient country can save you. Come over here. Kunshi sneered and then grabbed the air. It was as if the entire world was in his palm. Light flashed in the sky and turned into a giant genuine chi hand that grabbed at Ling Xiao. This grab shook the sky and an extremely cold killing intent spread out as if it could shatter the world. Longevity sword chi, purple cloud lightning, explode. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with a sharp light. The dazzling sword chi and heavenly thunder of purple clouds exploded once again. Then, they poured down towards the Kuan snake at the same time. When they collided, an earth-shattering torrent erupted. Weak, you're still too weak. Kuan Shi sneered and turned his grab into a palm. He slapped down and in an instant, the world was turned upside down. The torrent that was filled with killing intent and destructive aura was smashed into nothingness by Kuan Shi's palm. Kid, let's see what else you can do. Kuan Shi walked over casually and there was no trace of smoke or fire under his feet. He approached Ling Xiao with a mocking look on his face. However, Ling Xiao looked as if he was really frightened. His face was filled with horror as he stepped on the Thunder Dragon and flew down quickly. Kuan Shi, if you dare to touch the Longevity Sect, the founder of the Longevity Sect will not let you off. Ling Xiao roared at Kuan Shi as he flew towards the Longevity Square below. Many of the Longevity Sect's disciples were also shocked by Kuan Shi's attack. A celestial realm expert. That was a realm that they didn't even dare to imagine. Legend had it that the king of the Great Desolation ancient country was a celestial realm expert. If such a peerless expert wanted to destroy the Longevity Sect, who could stop him? The disciples felt as if they had risen from hell to heaven and from heaven to hell. Their eyes were filled with despair. Chapter 80. Sky Devourer Supreme and Longevity Supreme? If it was 10,000 years ago when the Longevity Sect ruled the world, no one would dare to touch you. However, it's not 10,000 years ago now. 2 stone statues won't be able to protect you. Kuan Shi strolled leisurely and landed on the Longevity Square as well. He looked at the 2 divine statues in the center of the square and a cold smile appeared on his face. Is that so? Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a strange look. Boom! A drop of golden blood rolled down from Ling Xiao's fingertip, instantly turning into a golden glow in the air. With a point of his finger, a golden rune flashed and disappeared. Ling Xiao formed a seal with his hands and muttered something. A mysterious and ancient fluctuation spread out. Kuan Shi's expression changed. Suddenly he felt a faint threat. This was the intuition of a celestial being. Although he did not know what could threaten a celestial being in this small Longevity Sect, Kuan Shi still leaped up and flew towards the void. You're only leaving now? It's too late. Ling Xiao said coldly. Golden light seemed to shoot out from his eyes. Boom! An earth-shattering sound was heard. The sky trembled and the earth shook. The sun, moon, and stars seemed to be falling. The Sky Devourer Supreme statue in the Longevity Square came alive. That's right, it came alive. The statue emitted a golden glow, and a domineering, ancient, and majestic aura burst out. The statue opened its eyes and looked at the Kuan snake coldly, as if it was looking at an ant. What? Kuan Shi was scared out of his wits and felt his scalp go numb. He felt a strong sense of threat from the statue. Without hesitation, he flew into the sky. But at this moment, a giant hand slapped across the sky. Monstrous divine power flooded the sky like an endless wave. It seemed to move very slowly, but Kuan Shi was unable to fly out of the range of the palm's attack. Kuan Shi's body glowed and a giant snake head emerged from his body. Its eyes were blood-red and looked ferocious. It spat out a black divine light from its mouth and collided with the giant hand. Boom! The black divine light fell on the giant hand and melted like snow. The giant hand slapped the head of the snake, turning it into a bloody mist. My sun-devouring bash. Longevity Sect, this old man will fight to the death with you. Kuan Shi spat out a mouthful of blood, as if he had suffered a great backlash. He looked at Ling Xiao with hatred, and at the same time, he escaped from the range of the palm and flew away rapidly. A companion spirit beast? I didn't expect it to be an ancient mutant. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. That huge snake head should be the Kuan snake's companion spirit beast. With its companion spirit beast killed, the Kuan snake naturally suffered a huge backlash. Fortunately, his companion spirit beast had taken the hit for him. Otherwise, Kuan Shi would have died without a doubt. Seeing that Kuan Shi was about to escape, Ling Zhao's expression remained unchanged. His eyes revealed a hint of mockery. Black and white light flashed in the eyes of the sky-devouring supreme god statue. In an instant, it turned into a black and white sword radiance. It cut across the void and was extremely dazzling. No one could see the speed of the sword and no one could describe the style of the sword. Everyone only saw the sword radiance flash and Kuan Shi's head was separated from his body. He didn't even have time to scream before he fell from the void. Oh no, run! At this moment, Yun Bat-yin and Yin Kuei finally woke up from their shocked state. Their faces were full of fear. Even a heavenly being had been killed. What was the point of them staying here? Without hesitation, the two of them rushed down Longevity Mountain. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed and two more sword radiances shot out from the statue's eyes, killing Yun Bat-yin and Yin Kuei directly. At this point, everyone from Hehuan's sect and Demonic Palace had been killed. In addition, there was also a heavenly being elder from the Myriad Beasts sect. At the peak of Longevity Mountain, corpses were strewn everywhere and blood flowed like a river. It was like hell on earth, filled with the thick stench of blood. At this moment, everyone from Changsun's sect was dumbfounded. A heavenly being realm elite died just like that? The arrival of Kuan Shi gave them too much pressure. That kind of demeanor of flying through the air and destroying the protective formation with a flick of his finger was like that of an immortal. It made everyone feel powerless. Even Nangong Xian almost believed that the Changsun sect was doomed. Who would have thought that the statue of the sky-devouring supreme god ancestor would come to life at this crucial moment and kill Kuan Shi? Could it really be the ancestor's spirit? A large number of Longevity sect disciples even knelt down in front of the sky-devouring supreme god statue respectfully and sincerely. As for Nangong Xian, the great elder and the rest, their gazes landed on Ling Zhao. They knew that the strange movement of the sky-devouring supreme god statue must have something to do with this young man. But no matter what, everyone knew that after this battle, the Longevity sect would be the strongest sect within 1,000 miles radius. Most of the elites from Hehuan sect and Demonic Palace were killed, and the remaining small fries would not be able to do much. Nangong Xian decisively ordered a group of disciples to clean up the Longevity Mountain while the Great Elder led the rest to Hehuan sect and Demonic Palace. They had to eliminate the root of the problem and not leave behind any future troubles. Furthermore, Hehuan sect and Demonic Palace were old sects that had been around for hundreds of years. The treasures and resources of these two sects naturally had to be taken back. Ling Zhao did not make a move. After his interrogation, he already knew that the Hehuan sect and the Demonic Palace had sent out all their forces this time. All of their master-level experts had died at the Longevity Mountain. There were only a few big cats in the sect, and the strongest was only an elder in the Dragon Tiger realm. The Great Elder could easily wipe them out. Ling Zhao took the storage bags of Kuan Shi, Yun Bat-yin and Yin Kuei without hesitation. Then, he shot out a chaos golden lotus flame and burned the 3 corpses into ashes. The death of an elder from Wanshou sect in Longevity sect was definitely an earth-shattering matter. If Wanshou sect knew about it, Longevity sect would be in danger. However, Ling Zhao guessed that Kuan Shi must have secretly come to Longevity sect. Wanshou sect should not know about it. After all, this was the territory of the Great Desolation Ancient Country. Even if the Great Desolation Ancient Country was not as strong as Wanshou sect would not dare to casually cross the border. Nangong Xian also knew the severity of this matter and also gave a gag order. No disciple was allowed to speak of today's matter. Otherwise, they would be punished for betraying the sect. When Ling Zhao brought Nangong Qing down from the sky, the lightning dragon beneath their feet slowly dissipated. Nangong Qing couldn't help but blush when she saw the meaningful look in Nangong Xian's eyes. Chapter 81. Sect Leader, I know you have many doubts in your heart. If I told you that I was able to activate the Longevity God's Sealing Array and activate the Heaven-Devouring Supreme Statue because the Heaven-Devouring Supreme Ancestor thought highly of me and gave me his legacy, would you believe me? Ling Xiao chuckled and said casually, I believe you. Nangong Xian nodded solemnly. Ling Xiao was stunned. He did not expect Nangong Xian to believe his random excuse. You were able to find the long-lost Longevity Supreme Scripture, activate the Longevity God's Sealing Array, and even activate the Heaven-Devouring Supreme Statue. These are things that even the previous sect leaders and I could not do. But you did it. Other than the fact that you have the legacy of the Heaven-Devouring Supreme Ancestor, how else can you explain it? Nangong Xian said slowly, with a trace of excitement in his eyes. And I know about your life. Although you are the son of the Demon King, you did not inherit his martial talent. Your talent is extremely poor, and you could not even reach the first level of the channel opening realm before the age of 15. But after you were injured by Ling Kuan and woke up, you began to show your exceptional talent. More importantly, the Heaven-Devouring Supreme Ancestor's real name is Ling Xiao. And according to my guess, the Ling family of the Demon King is the descendant of the Heaven-Devouring Supreme. You have the blood of the Heaven-Devouring Supreme Ancestor flowing in your body. It is only natural that he chose you as his successor. Ling Xiao was stunned, and a strange smile appeared on his face. He was still worrying about how to explain everything that happened to him. He did not expect Nangong Xian to find an excuse for him. But what the hell was the blood of the Heaven-Devouring Supreme? 10,000 years ago, Ling Xiao and Jin Se were innocent. Yes. Although they had a few intimate interactions, Ling Xiao swore to the heavens that Jin Se did not leave him any children. However, although Ling Xiao did not have any children 10,000 years ago, he still had the Ling family behind him. Could it be that the Ling family had been passed down until now? Back then, Ling Xiao was ambushed and killed by the True Dragon Supreme. Ling Xiao knew that with the True Dragon's nature, he would definitely destroy the Longevity sect and the Ling family. However, it was also possible that the Supreme True Dragon was also heavily injured. In addition, Jin Se was present at that time, so the Longevity sect and the Ling family were able to survive. Ling Xiao, since you've received the inheritance of the Sky-Devouring Supreme Ancestor, you're his disciple. In terms of seniority, you're probably the ancestor of the Longevity sect. However, to prevent your identity from being exposed, why don't we announce to the public that you're my disciple? We'll be brothers in the future. How about that? Nangong Xian suddenly thought of something and looked at Ling Xiao cautiously. I don't agree. Before Ling Xiao could say anything, Nangong Qing hurriedly objected. Why do you disagree? Nangong Xian and Ling Xiao looked at Nangong Qing in surprise. Did they need Nangong Qing's consent? Nangong Qing's face turned red as she scolded herself in her heart. She didn't know what was wrong with her. She was too unreserved. However, he definitely could not give in on this matter. If Ling Xiao called Nangong Xian senior brother, wouldn't he have to call Ling Xiao senior uncle? Definitely not. Nangong Qing said seriously, Father, Ling Xiao is the son of Demon King Zhen. Although he was only an outer disciple when he entered our Longevity sect, he was still taught by an outer sect elder. If you accept a disciple on behalf of your master, wouldn't you be lacking in seniority? Ling Xiao is already in the limelight. If you accept him on behalf of your master, it's inevitable that people will think of something. Moreover, the position of the Holy Son can only be held by the young sect leader. If Ling Xiao becomes your junior brother, he won't be able to be the Holy Son anymore. Therefore, your idea is not suitable at all. Ling Xiao nodded. Nangong Qing's idea sounded reasonable, but it was also a little unreasonable. However, Ling Xiao didn't want to be in the limelight. He said, Qing is right. I'll just be the Holy Son. That's more suitable for my low-profile temperament. Nangong Xian and Nangong Qing couldn't help but roll their eyes. Low profile? If you could keep a low profile, Hehuan sect and demonic palace wouldn't have been played to death by you so quickly. However, Ling Xiao's Qing still made Nangong Qing blush slightly. Alright, since that's the case, Ling Xiao will still be the Holy Son of our Changsun sect. Nangong Xian looked at Nangong Qing meaningfully until her face and ears turned red. Then he laughed and turned to leave. However, this made Ling Xiao somewhat baffled. In a mountain range tens of thousands of miles away from the Changsan sect, the mountains were so tall that they pierced through the clouds. Ancient trees towered in the mountain range. Countless powerful beasts roamed about, their roars shaking the heavens and earth. On a huge mountain peak that looked like a beast was lying down, there were many palaces. Clouds drifted in the air, and there were many rare beasts flying in the air. In the mountain peak, there were some special places where huge beasts were reared. Their roars shook the mountain range, and they emitted violent killing intent. In an ancient hall, there were countless balls of light floating in the air. Within each ball of light, there was a jade token. At this moment, a ball of light near the top suddenly exploded. A child who was dozing off jumped up in shock. He grabbed the jade pendant in the ball of light. There were already a few cracks on the jade pendant, and the light was incomparably dim. When he saw the name on the jade pendant, he was so frightened that his complexion changed greatly. He rolled and crawled out of the hall. The child ran to the largest hall of 10,000 beasts at the top of the mountain, panting. He knelt down with a thud. "Sect Master, this is bad. This is bad. Elder Kuan-Shi's life token is broken." The child knelt down in the palace and said in fear. He didn't dare to look at the person above him. Above the hall of 10,000 beasts, there was a misty fog and light. There seemed to be a mysterious figure sitting there, emitting an aura that made the heavens and earth tremble. Hearing this, the fog above him dispersed a little. A pair of cold eyes revealed itself, shooting out 2 rays of divine light that landed on the child. Instantly, the child was drenched in sweat. He felt as though he was suffocating, and his face was extremely pale. He waved his hand, and the life token flew into the light. The soul dissipated in the east. In the east, is it the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom or the Sun Moon Star sect? Only they can kill Kuan-Shi. However, no matter who it is, anyone who dares to kill the people of the Wanshou sect must die. The cold and majestic voice rumbled like thunder, causing the entire hall of 10,000 beasts to buzz. "Pass down my order. The left guardian is to head to the Sun Moon Star sect, and the right guardian is to head to the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom. We must find the real culprit who killed Kuan-Shi and wipe out his entire family." As the dignified voice rang out, a powerful force swept the Taoist child out of the myriad beast hall. It also closed the 2 huge stone doors along the way. "Yes, Sect Master." Chapter 82. Longevity Sect. It had been 3 days since the bloody battle, but the entire Longevity Sect had a new atmosphere. Due to the appearance of the traitor Lin Shan, the Longevity Sect suffered heavy casualties. In the battle with the All-Pleasure Sect and Demonic Palace, almost 1/3 of their disciples died. More than 10 elders of the Dragon Tiger realm died in battle. It could be said that the Longevity Sect suffered heavy losses. However, at the last moment of the Longevity Sect's survival, Ling Xiao rode on a dragon and killed many experts of the All-Pleasure Sect and Demonic Palace with the Purple Heaven Godly Lightning and Longevity Sword Qi. He even activated the Sky-Devouring Supreme God statue and killed Yun Badian and Yin Kuei, the 2 sect leaders, as well as a Heaven Realm expert. Ling Xiao's peerless demeanor was deeply imprinted in the hearts of every Longevity Sect disciple. When all the disciples looked in the direction of the Brocade Pavilion, their eyes were filled with fanaticism and worship. After experiencing this bloody battle, the remaining disciples felt a stronger sense of belonging to the Longevity Sect. Moreover, they were more united. Every disciple seemed to have undergone a metamorphosis as they broke through their bottlenecks and stepped into a higher realm. In 3 days, the bloody stench in the Longevity Mountain dissipated. The entire Longevity Mountain was illuminated by the resplendent sunlight, and the sound of many disciples cultivating could be heard. Especially the Longevity Square, which had become the sacred ground of the Longevity Sect. Countless disciples gathered under the Sky-Devouring Supreme God statue and bowed respectfully. Then, they began to cultivate in anticipation of receiving guidance from the Patriarch. This bloody battle caused the entire longevity sect to be like a phoenix that was born from the flames. They began to soar. In the brocade pavilion, Shui Wei sat cross-legged. Her body was graceful, and her body emitted dense nine-nether cold qi. Her small face was pale, and the aura on her body was getting stronger. A stream of Xianhuang qi flowed through Shui Wei's body and finally exploded in her qi sea. It was like endless lightning, exploding with a strange scene of heaven and earth splitting. Rumble! Shui Wei's qi sea slowly strengthened and expanded bit by bit. 500 feet. 510 feet. 520 feet. Ling Xiao stood beside Shui Wei, and his powerful mental energy spread out. He was watching the changes in Shui Wei's body without blinking. Ling Xiao gave Shui Wei a Xianmu Dan. Although Shui Wei had already opened up her dantian, but the Xianmu Dan still had a strong effect on her, which allowed her to slowly expand her 490 feet dantian. The mysterious yellow mother qi filled the air, and strange lightning flashed. In the end, Shui Wei's sea of qi only stopped expanding after reaching 981 feet. There was no way for it to expand any further. Ling Xiao knew that this was already Shui Wei's limit. After all, she didn't possess the ninth hell scripture now, so she was unable to fully utilize her ninth hell bloodline to its limits. A sea of qi of 810 feet was a realm that made countless geniuses shrink back at the sight of. After all, it was too difficult to achieve a sea of qi of 99 zhang or even a perfect 100 zhang like Ling Xiao. Shui Wei exhaled lightly and opened her eyes. Her cultivation had already reached the third stage of the true energy realm. Young master, did I succeed? Shui Wei blinked her big clear eyes and asked nervously. Success. Our family's Shui Wei is so powerful, who knows how many times stronger than those legendary geniuses? Ling Xiao said with a smile. At the same time, he praised in his heart. Shui Wei indeed had the ninth hell bloodline. This terrifying speed of improvement made him feel a little ashamed. This was under the condition that Shui Wei hadn't obtained the ninth hell scripture. If Shui Wei had cultivated the ninth hell scripture, her speed would probably be even more terrifying. Yes, I must cultivate well so that I can help young master beat up bad people in the future. Shui Wei raised her tender little fist and said resolutely. Shui Wei is so obedient. Ling Xiao said as he rubbed Shui Wei's little head dotingly. Shui Wei was only 13 or 14 years old now. Ling Xiao was full of tender love for her, as if she was his biological sister. After all, in Ling Xiao's memory, the Ling family was cold and heartless. Out of all the people who truly treated him wholeheartedly, only this little girl was in front of him. Especially after arriving at the Changsun sect, Shui Wei had suffered a lot. However, this stubborn little girl had endured it all by herself, unwilling to let Ling Xiao suffer even a little bit. A gust of fragrant wind blew and Lu Piapiao entered the room. Ling Xiao, sect leader Nangong wants you to go to the longevity hall. It seems that the great elder has returned. The Hehuan sect and the demonic palace have completely disappeared. Lu Piapiao said casually. The great elder is back? Ling Xiao nodded. It seemed like there were no accidents on this trip. Your mental strength has already reached the peak of the lower elixir refinement master. Are you going to break through soon? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed and landed on Lu Piapiao. How can it be so easy to break through? I feel that I won't be able to break through without a year or so. After all, it's too difficult to raise one's mental strength. Perhaps when I break through to the Dragon Tiger realm, I can try to break through to the middle elixir refinement master. Lu Piapiao said with a bitter smile. That's not necessarily true. Be my maidservant and be obedient. When I return, I will teach you a secret skill that can raise your mental strength. Ling Xiao pinched Lu Piapiao's delicate little face and walked out with a laugh. Annoyed. Lu Piapiao was so angry that she stomped her feet and her face turned red. Ling Xiao made his way to the longevity hall. Along the way, the longevity sect disciples he met all looked at him with admiration and respect as they bowed to him respectfully. Ling Xiao responded with a smile and did not put on any airs. Some of the female disciples were so excited that their faces turned red and their eyes shone. Unknowingly, Ling Shao had subdued the hearts of all the disciples and established a higher prestige than Nangong Xian. In Longevity Hall, Nangong Xian, the great elder, Deng Tianda, and many other elders were present. Saint is here? Pa. Saint, come and take a look. These are all the treasures and resources that we obtained from Hehuan's sect and demonic palace. Saint, take a look and see if there's anything that you can use. Seeing Ling Shao enter, the great elder said with a smile. In Longevity Hall, there were more than a dozen storage bags, some dazzling spiritual equipment, fragrant spiritual elixirs, various refining materials, spiritual herbs, and spiritual stones. Ling Shao used his mental strength to check and found that Hehuan's sect and demonic palace were indeed rich. They were indeed worthy of being old sects with hundreds of years of history. There were more than 50 million upper-grade spiritual stones and 1 million supreme-grade spiritual stones. There were more than 100 spiritual equipment, countless spiritual elixirs, spiritual herbs, and refining materials. They filled almost half of Longevity Hall. Nangong Xian, Deng Tianda, and the other elders were all excited. They were like beggars who had seen countless treasures. They couldn't stop grinning from ear to ear. There was no choice. The Longevity sect was too poor. Chapter 83. It was already very difficult for the Changsun sect to maintain its operations. They were only relying on a single spiritual stone mine and a few other businesses in the Changsun sect. Even the disciples of the Changsun sect were extremely poor. Even the true disciples did not have a spiritual weapon each. It was obvious that the Changsun sect was in dire straits. One had to know that 10,000 years ago, even the servants of the Changsun sect used spiritual weapons. They would not even look at a spiritual weapon on the side of the road. Nangong Xian was naturally overjoyed to suddenly obtain such a large sum of wealth. Sect leader, Grand Elder, isn't it just some spiritual stones and cultivation resources? We don't even have a single spiritual crystal. Hehuan's sect and demonic palace are not much better off than beggars. Is there a need to be so excited? Ling Shao rolled his eyes and said, Ling Shao, you don't know the value of resources until you're in charge. Our Changsun sect can't even take out 1 million high-grade spiritual stones. What do you think these resources mean to us? It means that we can raise the cultivation of all the disciples of the Changsun sect. How can I not be excited? Nangong Xian laughed bitterly. Sect leader, the Changsun sect is in such a state. If our ancestors knew about this, they would jump out of their coffins and scold you. Alright, I know it's not easy for you. These are Yun Batian and Yin Kuei's private stash. Take it as me being generous and giving it to the sect. Ling Shao smiled and took out Yun Batian and Yin Kuei's storage bags and threw them to Nangong Xian. Yun Batian and Yin Kuei were both evolved Jing masters and the sect leaders of their respective sects, so they had quite a lot of treasures. Ling Shao took a quick look and found that the amount of spirit stones, spirit pellets, and weapons was even more than what the head elder had plundered from the two sections. As expected, Nangong Xian and the other elders were excited when they saw the items in the two storage bags. Saint, are you really not going to pick anything? You've done a great job this time. Even if you take everything, the sect leader won't say anything. But he'll be heartbroken for a long time. Deng Tianda, that old fellow, seemed to have forgotten about the conflict between him and Ling Shao. He also came forward with a smile. Forget it, these things are really useless to me. Something's wrong, Ling Shao waved his hand and said casually. However, when his gaze fell on a piece of black wood, his expression changed slightly. Ling Shao quickly walked over and picked up the piece of black wood. The piece of black wood was only the size of a human head. The reason why Ling Shao had discovered this piece of blackwood was because the wordless heavenly book in his sea of consciousness had trembled slightly when he had scanned it with his mental strength. I almost misjudged you. Ling Shao was very excited. He recognized the origin of this piece of wood. Ironwood was a type of spirit wood, and it was also a material for refining tools. It could be used to refine tools. A 100-year ironwood could be used to refine spirit tools, a 1,000-year ironwood could be used to refine treasures, and a 10,000-year ironwood could even be used to refine Dao tools. The piece of ironwood in Ling Zhao's hand was the core of a 10,000-year-old ironwood. It contained an incomparably pure wood attribute spiritual energy. It could be considered a top-grade wood attribute spiritual seed. Ling Zhao had obtained another one of the 5 elements spiritual seeds. He was only left with the metal attribute spiritual seed. Ling Zhao put away the core of the 10,000-year-old ironwood without hesitation. He was in a good mood. Nangong Xian, the first elder, and the rest knew that Ling Zhao must have obtained a good treasure. However, they didn't ask. Today, since everyone is here, I have something to tell you. Ling Zhao's gaze flickered, and his expression became solemn. Do you know who left the cave abode in the spiritual stone mine? Cave abode? The eyes of Nangong Xian, the first elder, and the rest flashed. They already knew that Ling Zhao had entered the cave abode and obtained a fortuitous encounter. Now that they heard Ling Zhao's words, could it be that the cave abode had a significant history? Could it be left behind by a senior of our Changsun sect? Nangong Xian's eyes flashed. He seemed to have thought of something and asked hurriedly. That's right. It was left behind by a senior of our Changsun sect. That senior had a significant history. He was the sect leader of the Changsun sect 500 years ago, Sage Tianfeng. Ling Zhao said slowly. Sage Tianfeng? It's him? The great elder exclaimed, his eyes revealing a trace of shock. He saw that Nangong Xian and Deng Tiando were looking at him in confusion. Obviously, they had never heard of Sage Tianfeng's name. I also saw it in an ancient record. Sage Tianfeng was indeed the sect leader of the Changsun sect 500 years ago. He was a peerless genius of his generation. He broke through to the celestial realm at the age of 30 and took over the Changsun sect. At 40, he reached level 9 of the celestial realm and was only a hair's breadth away from the noble realm. Moreover, his martial arts were earth-shattering. Under his leadership, the Changsun sect was on the road to prosperity 500 years ago. However, later on, the Changsun sect seemed to have provoked a strong enemy and met with a calamity. The entire Changsun sect was almost annihilated. It was said that Sage Tianfeng had fallen as well. I didn't expect him to leave a cave abode in the spiritual stone mine. The first elder said with a sigh. A 30-year-old celestial realm warrior? Indeed, he can be considered a peerless genius. Ling Zhao nodded. After becoming one with the world and entering the celestial realm, not only would one's cultivation be unparalleled, one would also have a lifespan of 500 years. This was the path that countless masters pursued. After all, even a master could not live past 200 years old. The path of martial arts was not only about revenge or strength. More importantly, it was the exploration of the world and the desire to live as long as the heavens. However, many masters in the celestial realm might not even be able to touch the celestial realm when they were 100 years old. A 30-year-old celestial realm warrior was indeed impressive. What kind of strong enemy did our Changsun sect encounter 500 years ago? Even Sage Tianfeng could not withstand it. Could it be a legendary master of the noble realm? Nangong Xian frowned slightly. His eyes revealed a hint of seriousness. I'm afraid none of you can imagine that the strong enemy we encountered 500 years ago was the Wanshou sect, the holy land of martial arts. Chapter 84. What? The biggest enemy of our longevity sect 500 years ago was the Wanshou sect? Everyone's expression changed as their gazes turned serious. The name Wanshou sect was like a huge mountain pressing down on everyone's heart, making it hard for the elders to breathe. The 8 Desolation region's holy land of martial Dao was even more powerful than the Great Desolation ancient kingdom. Any random elder Kun Shi from the sect was a heaven realm expert. Such a holy land of martial Dao was the archenemy of the longevity sect. Naturally, the elders felt uneasy. 5,000 years ago, Taoist Tianfeng led the longevity sect to rise to power, causing the Wanshou sect to feel threatened. Furthermore, the Wanshou sect coveted the longevity supreme scripture of our longevity sect, so they ruthlessly launched a sect annihilation war? How ruthless! Nangong Xian's eyes flashed coldly as he spoke slowly. If that's the case, Then the reason why Kuan Shi ordered the He Huan sect and Sky Demon Palace to attack the Longevity sect was probably because he wanted something from our Longevity sect. The first elder said slowly. The Wanshou sect is too much. There's nothing we can do about it. The Wanshou sect is too strong. If it wasn't for the devouring heaven ancestors statue that killed Kuan Shi, I'm afraid Kuan Shi alone could have destroyed our Longevity sect. What should we do now? Kuan Shi died in the Longevity sect. If the Wanshou sect finds out, all of us will die. Many of the elders in the hall began to panic as they started to discuss among themselves. The Wanshou sect's reputation was too strong. Compared to the Wanshou sect, the Longevity sect was like a small shrimp that could be crushed easily. These elders were naturally afraid. What are you panicking for? Ling Xiao bellowed. His imposing gaze swept across the crowd, instantly suppressing everyone's voices. It's just the Wanshou sect, what's there to be afraid of? Although our Longevity sect is not as strong as it was 10,000 years ago, our Longevity sect has been passed down for 10,000 years. How can the Wanshou sect compare to us? These are the martial arts manuals left behind by Taoist Tianfeng. As long as you cultivate well, the heaven realm is nothing. The day will come when all of you break through into the noble realm, the monarch realm, or even the exalt realm. At that time, a mere myriad beasts sect will be able to crush you with ease. Ling Xiao waved his hand and over 100 antique secret manuals appeared within the Longevity Palace. A secret manual left behind by Taoist Tianfeng? Everyone was shocked and then their eyes lit up. Firmament palm, sweeping leg, cloud ladder, misty sword art, great Vajra palm, Vajra subduing devil fist, 6 yang true art, small formless art. The hundreds of secret manuals dazzled the elders. They were so excited that their bodies trembled. Vajra subduing demon fist. This is an earth-tier peerless martial art. It's an advanced martial art of the lesser Vajra fist. To think that it would really be passed down. There's also the mighty Vajra palm and the 6 yang true art. They are both earth-tier peerless martial arts. With these martial arts manuals, the rise of our Changsun sect is just around the corner. We are really blessed by our patriarch, minor phaseless method. That's a heaven-tier martial art. It's a supreme secret manual that can lead one to the noble stage. Even the Wanshou sect doesn't have many heaven-tier martial arts manuals like this, right? We're rich, we're really rich. The elders were all dancing with joy, their eyes filled with excitement. These elders had been tested by the battle between the Hehuan sect and the demonic palace. They were all absolutely loyal to the Changsun sect. Hence, there was nothing to worry about when Ling Xiao took out these secret manuals. The appearance of these secret manuals was like a shot in the arm, sweeping away the shadow that had shrouded the Wanshou sect in everyone's hearts. It gave them a strong sense of confidence. With these secret manuals, the Changsun sect has the ability to go against the Wanshou sect. As long as everyone works hard to cultivate, what do we have to fear from the Wanshou sect? Don't worry, Elder Kuan Shi came here secretly. The Wanshou sect definitely doesn't know. They won't suspect us. Furthermore, with the protection of the sky-devouring patriarch statue, any expert from the Wanshou sect who comes will die. Your mission now is to work hard to cultivate and recruit talented disciples to strengthen the Changsun sect. Ling Xiao looked at Nangong Xian and the elders and said slowly. His voice was filled with confidence. That's right. With the help of the sky-devouring patriarch statue, no matter how many people from the Wanshou sect come, they will all die. What's there to be afraid of? Sooner or later, we will settle the score with the Wanshou sect for the destruction of our sect 500 years ago. Thank you, Saint. If it wasn't for you, the Changsun sect would have been destroyed long ago, not to mention restoring the glory of our ancestors. That's right. From now on, my life belongs to the Saint. I believe that if we follow the Saint, the Changsun sect will become stronger and stronger. Many elders chimed in one after another, and the haze in their eyes was swept away. Furthermore, their gazes towards Ling Xiao were filled with respect. Everyone, there's no need for that. Everything is for the Changsun sect. Ling Xiao smiled and said, In the end, Nangong Xian kept all the martial arts secret manuals and prepared to keep them in the scripture depository. The elders left with confidence, leaving only Nangong Xian, the great elder, and Ling Shao in the longevity hall. Saint, are we really going to pass these martial arts secret manuals out? I'm afraid that there might be some people with ulterior motives in the sect. The great elder said worriedly. That's right. Passing down martial arts secret manuals must be done carefully. We must test the loyalty of the elders and the disciples before passing them down. Nangong Xian calmed down and said slowly, as for how to pass down the martial arts, that's your problem. However, sect leader, the strongest martial arts secret manual is only the lower heaven class lesser phaseless skill. I have the complete inheritance of the sky-devouring patriarch. After I understand the profound meaning of martial arts, not to mention heaven-class martial arts secret manuals, I can even carve out the true meaning of paragon martial arts secret manuals. Ling Shao smiled and said casually, I'll leave it to you to pass down the martial arts secret manuals. However, after this battle, the hearts of the people can be used. Most of the disciples are loyal to the sect, and there are many talented disciples who have been buried. I'll have to trouble sect leader to make the arrangements. 3 days later, I'll be opening an altar to pass down the martial arts secret manual. Opening an altar to pass down the martial arts secret manual? Nangong Xian and the great elder's eyes lit up. Ling Shao had received the inheritance of the sky-devouring patriarch. Needless to say, his knowledge and understanding of martial arts far surpassed theirs. If he could open an altar to pass down the martial arts secret manual, it would be beneficial to everyone. Nangong Xian and the great elder were also looking forward to it. All right, don't worry. 3 days later, I'll make the arrangements. Nangong Xian nodded in agreement. Ling Shao threw a large number of spiritual weapons left behind by the heavenly wind sage to Nangong Xian. He then rushed back to the brocade pavilion. After refining the 10,000-year ironwood heart, the sky-devouring spiritual seed was one step closer to perfection. Ling Zhao's cultivation could also improve. Chapter 85. Ling Shao sat cross-legged in Jin's pavilion. Around him, countless high-grade spirit stones had already been used to form a large-scale spirit gathering array, causing the spirit energy around Ling Shao to be incomparably dense. It was like a fog, and with a casual breath, there would be surging spirit energy flowing into his body. Lu Chuanxiong, Gu Zhong, and Wang Han had completely become Ling Zhao's diehard fans. They consciously guarded outside Jin's pavilion to protect Ling Shao. A black piece of wood was placed in front of Ling Shao. The ironwood core was very hard, like a metal stone. It didn't seem to have any spirit chi fluctuations, so most people would only think of it as an ordinary ore. However, Ling Shao knew that after opening the black piece of wood, the ironwood core was hidden inside. Ling Shao took a deep breath, and a faint golden brilliance appeared all over his body. Finally, his palm glowed, and an unparalleled sharpness spread out, striking towards the ironwood core. The black outer skin opened, and a bright green light floated up. The rich life chi filled the entire room. The ironwood core was only the size of a fist, like a green bead. It flickered with a green light, like an ocean of life, and was slightly pulsating. It really is the ironwood core. Looking at its quality, it's definitely not an ordinary ironwood core. It's at least 100,000 years old. Ling Zhao's eyes flickered, revealing a hint of shock. A 100,000-year-old ironwood core could already be called a supreme treasure. It was the same as the 10,000-year-old source chi stone that Ling Shao encountered. It was a treasure that could be refined into a supreme weapon. No wonder the wordless heavenly book in Ling Zhao's mind reacted when he encountered the ironwood core. Ling Shao didn't hesitate anymore. He opened his mouth and swallowed. The ironwood core turned into a green stream of light, instantly entering Ling Zhao's mouth. Boom! An extremely dazzling green divine light exploded. Around Ling Zhao's body, there was an endless aura of life that enveloped his entire being. The wood element spiritual chi was the life chi. The 100,000-year-old ironwood core even had the miraculous ability to bring the dead back to life. If it was refined into an elixir, even the most serious injuries could be healed immediately. Like a dried-up desert, Ling Zhao's body began to greedily devour the green qi of life. The incomparably pure wood elemental spiritual energy flowed through Ling Zhao's meridians and finally gathered in his dantian. Ling Zhao's qi sea was now like an ocean. The dense true qi had turned into droplets of true liquid, containing boundless power. Above his sea of qi, the heaven-devouring spirit seed emitted a tricolored spiritual light. It was crystal clear and there were mysterious runes lingering around it. At this moment, the heaven-devouring spirit seed began to tremble violently as it sensed the power of the 10,000-year ironwood heart. The tricolored spiritual light spun and turned into a huge devouring vortex. Tai Muxin, who had been slowly releasing his energy, suddenly exploded like a bright green lightning. The heaven-devouring spirit seed rotated slowly, and a trace of green spiritual light gradually emerged from it. Boundless wood elemental spiritual energy burst out and Ling Zhao's cultivation base began to slowly increase. Early third level of the spirit transformation realm, mid-third level of the spirit transformation realm, late third level of the spirit transformation realm, peak third level of the spirit transformation realm, fourth level of the spirit transformation realm. Under the impact of this pure and boundless energy, the bottleneck of the spirit transformation realm was broken. It was only when Ling Zhao reached the sixth level of the spirit transformation realm that the fluctuations in his body gradually calmed down. The resplendent life energy silently seeped into every particle in Ling Zhao's body, causing his body to become crystal clear. It became even more resplendent and emitted a natural fragrance. This was a transformation of the level of life. Every time the spirit seed was refined, it was a baptism for Ling Zhao. Ling Zhao could even faintly feel that when the heaven-devouring spirit seed was completely refined, his body would undergo an unimaginable change. Boom! Just at this moment, the wordless heavenly book in Ling Zhao's sea of knowledge changed. A powerful, ancient, and mysterious energy attacked. It was like the energy of the heavens. It was domineering and mysterious, and it instantly devoured the remaining wood elemental spiritual energy. The entire wordless heavenly book shone brightly. The wordless heavenly book was originally simple and obscure, giving off a dim light like chaos. However, at this moment, it bloomed with millions of rays of light. In the end, about 1% of the wordless heavenly book turned into a resplendent golden color. Golden rays of light bloomed, runes spread out, and a mysterious aura spread out. It was as if something was about to be born from the wordless heavenly book. What is this? Ling Zhao's eyes trembled as he woke up from his cultivation state. At this moment, he also noticed the change in the wordless heavenly book. This was the first time the wordless heavenly book had actively devoured energy. Previously, when Ling Zhao refined the 5 elemental spirit seed, a portion of the spiritual energy would mysteriously disappear. It was very likely that it was devoured by the wordless heavenly book. However, at that time, the wordless heavenly book was passively absorbing the spiritual energy. It wasn't like this time where it was actively devouring the spiritual energy. These parts that are shrouded in golden light are faintly being born from the mysteries of heaven and earth. Could it be some kind of secret technique? Ling Zhao's eyes trembled as he thought of a possibility. There were a total of 108 pages in the wordless heavenly book. Among them, the 14th page was the heaven-devouring secret skill, and the first page was the ancestral dragon secret skill. Now, the entire wordless heavenly book's 9-colored radiance had already dissipated. It looked very ordinary, and its entire body was gray. However, the heaven-devouring secret skill and the ancestral dragon secret skill had both turned into golden pages. Did that mean that when the wordless heavenly book turned completely golden, another secret technique would appear? At the thought of this, Ling Zhao's heart started to become extremely excited. In his previous life, Ling Zhao had obtained an incomplete version of the heaven-devouring secret skill, which allowed him to become the leader of the 10 titled supreme martial artists. He reigned supreme in the world and dominated the world. Supreme Real Dragon had obtained an incomplete version of the ancestral dragon secret skill, which allowed him to become the second titled supreme martial artist and the #1 body-tempering emperor. His physical body was invincible, and his fists could shatter the void. His blood energy could shatter the stars, and he dominated the world. Ling Xiao knew how terrifying the heaven-devouring secret skill and the ancestral dragon secret skill were. Moreover, these two secret techniques seemed to contain the most original energy of heaven and earth. They were extremely powerful and were much more powerful than the Supreme Sutra. Ling Xiao even thought that these secret techniques were left behind by the legendary deities. There were a total of 108 pages in the wordless heavenly book, which meant that there were a total of 108 secret techniques in the wordless heavenly book. Did that mean that as long as the wordless heavenly book devoured enough energy, it would be able to display all 108 secret techniques? At the thought of this, even with Ling Xiao's supreme state of mind, he felt his blood boil. How terrifying and powerful would it be to possess 108 secret techniques? Chapter 86. The wordless heavenly book was definitely an earth-shattering treasure. It was even more frightening than the legendary artifacts. After all, Ling Xiao had never heard of anyone being reborn with the help of a legendary artifact in his previous life. He must not let anyone know that he had the wordless heavenly book. Otherwise, all the supreme martial artists in the God of War continent would hunt him down. It seems like the most precious item in the tomb of the God of War Scarlet Dragon wasn't the Godhead but the wordless heavenly book. Ling Xiao sighed softly. If the supreme true dragon knew that he had lost his most precious treasure, what would his expression be like? However, the wordless heavenly book seemed to be very picky. Even the 4-5 element spiritual seeds could only fill it with 1% of its energy. It seemed like it wasn't going to be easy to obtain the secret skill. Ling Xiao stood up. His bones and tendons crackled, emitting the roars of dragons and tigers. His blood was boiling, filled with explosive energy. The current Ling Xiao was tall and slender, his skin emitting a jade-like luster. His black hair fluttered in the wind, and his eyes were as bright as the stars. A faint, unruly smile hung at the corner of his mouth. His entire being emitted a jade-like aura. Ling Xiao was like the center of the world. He was as bright as the sun. Wherever he went, he would be the focus of attention. However, Ling Xiao moved slightly and released the heaven-devouring secret skill. His aura became extremely ordinary. He looked no different from an ordinary person. As his cultivation increased, Ling Xiao's understanding of the heaven-devouring secret skill and the ancestral dragon secret skill deepened. Ling Xiao could feel the terrifying power of these two secret skills. It was simply endless. Ling Xiao's mental strength had also broken through to the realm of a peerless alchemist. He was only a hair's breadth away from becoming a lower alchemist master. The effects of the breakthrough in mental strength were obvious. The surrounding heaven and earth seemed to have changed. In Ling Xiao's eyes, there were colorful lights. For example, the breathing of the grass and trees, the changes of the wind and clouds, the changes of the mountains, and the cultivation of the Changsun sect disciples. Ling Xiao could feel everything clearly. Moreover, the wordless heavenly book seemed to have a special effect on Ling Xiao's spiritual energy. It continuously absorbed the spiritual energy in the surroundings, strengthening Ling Xiao's spiritual energy bit by bit. 10,000 years ago, Ling Xiao's mental strength and the heaven-devouring true qi in his body were unparalleled. However, his physical body was slightly weaker than the supreme real dragon's. Thus, Ling Xiao's battle prowess was extremely strong. He was the leader of the 10 great titled supremes and the strongest person in the war god continent. However, Ling Xiao still didn't have the confidence to break through to the transcendent realm. When one reached that level, one would understand that it was impossible to break through to the divine realm if one's physical body, genuine qi, and spiritual energy could not reach a perfect balance. If there was even the slightest mistake, he would die in the terrifying world extermination divine tribulation. Thus, in this life, Ling Xiao had a new opportunity. Naturally, he paid more attention to the balance of the three energies, striving to bring it to a state of perfection. The benefits of having a strong spiritual energy were obvious. Needless to say, it could be used to refine weapons and elixirs. More importantly, it allowed Ling Xiao to check his own cultivation base and the smallest flaws. Externally, he could observe the heart of heaven and earth and understand the power of heaven and earth. It would be easier for him to enter a higher realm. The current Ling Xiao seemed to have fallen into this mysterious realm. With the addition of the wordless heavenly book, Ling Xiao's spiritual energy spread out and enveloped the entire Changsun sect in an instant. He could feel the joy, anger, sorrow, and joy of every disciple of the Changsun sect. He could feel the vibrations of life in the flowers and trees of the Changsun sect. He could feel the nature of the vast sky and vast clouds. He could even feel a vigorous vitality spreading out, causing the fate of the entire Changsun sect to explode like a blazing sun. The concept of luck was illusory to begin with. However, at this moment, Ling Xiao seemed to be able to see the strength of fate. What's that? Ling Xiao's mind jolted. He could feel an extremely pure aura of life behind the Changsun sect. However, it was extremely weak and almost impossible to detect. Almost as soon as Ling Xiao sensed it, the aura began to disappear and Ling Xiao woke up from that mysterious state. Such a dense aura of life, filled with the mysteries of the great Tao of nature. Could it be? Ling Xiao's eyes trembled as a trace of excitement appeared in his eyes. If he guessed correctly, it was definitely an unexpected surprise. Ling Xiao walked out of the Jin's pavilion and saw Lu Chuanxiong, Gu Zhong, and Wang Han outside. Religious son, you broke through again? Lu Chuanxiong's face revealed a trace of surprise. Ling Xiao didn't hide his cultivation. He was at the 6th level of the spirit transformation realm. One had to know that when Ling Xiao entered the Jin's pavilion a few hours ago, he was only at the 3rd level of the spirit transformation realm. In just a few hours, he had broken through to the 6th level of the spirit transformation realm. This terrifying speed of improvement made Lu Chuanxiong and the other two secretly click their tongues. However, they seemed to be immune to Ling Xiao's monstrous talent. They could understand everything that happened to Ling Xiao. Not to mention Ling Xiao breaking through 3 small realms in a few hours, they wouldn't be surprised even if Ling Xiao became a Grandmaster Realm expert in a few hours. Therefore, they calmed down after being shocked for a moment. Junior brother Lu, do you know what kind of place is behind the mountain? Ling Xiao asked with a faint smile. Behind the mountain? There's nothing behind the mountain? Lu Chuanxiong was slightly taken aback, but he still asked. Yes, religious son. The mountain behind the mountain is a barren valley without any vegetation. It's rugged with rocks and there's no spiritual energy. It's a wasteland. Normally, no disciples would go there. Gu Zhong said in a muffled voice. However, after hearing Ling Xiao's words, Wang Han fell into deep thought and a trace of light appeared in her eyes. Religious son, you want to know the origin of the mountain behind the mountain, right? I've seen it in an ancient book before. Wang Han said slowly. Oh, continue. Ling Xiao said to Wang Han with a faint smile. Wang Han's pretty face turned red, but she immediately said seriously, it said that the mountain behind the mountain was originally the forbidden area of the Changsun sect. It's a paradise inside, and the spiritual energy is 10 times or even 100 times more than outside. Everyone who could enter the forbidden area was a genius disciple of the sect. However, for some reason, the forbidden area disappeared, and the mountain behind the mountain became a wasteland without a single blade of grass growing. Wang Han recounted what she had seen. The mountain behind the mountain was actually a paradise in the past? That godforsaken place? Lu Chuanxiong and Gu Zhong were slightly taken aback, and their faces were filled with disbelief. Bring me to the mountain behind the mountain. A bright light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes as he confirmed the guess in his heart. He nodded and said, All right, religious son, please. Chapter 87. The Longevity Mountain was beautiful and filled with spiritual energy. It was like an immortal's abode. Rays of auspicious light filled the air, and clouds rose. It was very peaceful. However, the back of the mountain was a different scene. In this huge valley, there were jagged rocks everywhere. The ground was grayish-black, and there were no plants or trees. There was almost no spiritual energy. It was as if the back of the mountain had become a land of death. When Ling Xiao arrived at the back of the mountain, this was the scene he saw. The rocks under his feet creaked. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with deep thought. It was as if he was thinking of something from a long time ago. The atmosphere was a little tense. Seeing that Ling Xiao was silent, Lu Chuanxiong and the other two did not speak either. They followed Ling Xiao into the depths of the mountain. Ling Xiao walked around the back of the mountain silently. The weak life energy from before appeared faintly. Ling Xiao walked slowly, as if he was very casual. Finally, he stood in front of a huge green rock. He pointed at it and said, "Move it away." Lu Chuanxiong and Gu Zhong were taken aback, but they moved without hesitation. This huge green rock was as tall as a few people and weighed hundreds of thousands of kilograms. Lu Chuanxiong and Gu Zhong could not move it. Boom! They punched out decisively. Violent energy exploded from their bodies. After dozens of punches, the green rock was shattered. They moved the huge blue stone away, revealing a small depression. In the middle of the depression, there was an inch-tall seedling. It only had 3 leaves and it looked green and full of vitality. This back of the mountain is barren. It's a land of death. There's actually a seedling here? Wang Han also noticed the sapling, and a hint of surprise flashed across her eyes. This seedling looked very ordinary. It did not emit any spiritual energy. However, it was very strange for it to appear in this barren mountain. "It's really you, the path-understanding tree." Ling Xiao sighed softly. There was surprise in his eyes, but there was also a hint of sadness. This was the first time Lu Chuanxiong and the other two had heard of the path-understanding tree. They were all puzzled. However, if it was 10,000 years ago, the path-understanding tree's name would be known all over the world. It was comparable to the strongest person in the world, the sky-devouring supreme. Because the path-understanding tree was the #1 innate spiritual root on the war god continent. It was rumored that the path-understanding tree was born from the primal chaos when the world was first created. It was even older than the war god continent and was the #1 primordial spirit root. Wherever the path-understanding tree was, the area within a radius of 1,000 miles would be a blessed land. The path-understanding tree could automatically gather the purest heaven and earth spirit chi. Furthermore, cultivating under the path-understanding tree allowed one to better understand the laws of heaven and earth. There were almost no cultivation bottlenecks. Cultivating under the path-understanding tree was almost 1,000 miles a day. Even a pig could become a supreme under the path-understanding tree. There was even a legend that the path-understanding tree would only bear fruit once every 1,000 years. The path-understanding fruit could allow one to directly comprehend a martial path divine ability. It was extremely miraculous. The path-understanding tree had countless benefits. It could be said that having the path-understanding tree was equivalent to having the entire war god continent's destiny. The path-understanding tree from 10,000 years ago was obtained by Ling Xiao through a bloody battle. He killed several supreme experts and snatched it from a forbidden zone. He then placed it in the longevity sect. However, at that time, the path-understanding tree was thousands of feet tall with lush leaves. It was like the cover of the sky, turning the entire longevity sect into a sea of spirit chi. It could be said that the longevity sect was able to become the #1 martial path divine realm 10,000 years ago partly because of Ling Xiao and partly because of the path-understanding tree. Furthermore, the path-understanding tree was not only the guardian tree of the Changshan sect, it was also the entrance to the Changshan secret realm. The Changshan secret realm was a small space created by Ling Xiao. There were countless precious spiritual herbs, mystical spiritual beasts, and treasures inside for the disciples of the Changshan sect to train. 10,000 years had passed. Not only was the longevity secret realm long gone, but the path-understanding tree had also disappeared without a trace. Ling Xiao naturally knew that when he was alive 10,000 years ago, the entire world had submitted to him. Naturally, no one dared to covet the path-understanding tree. However, after his death, the longevity sect still had the longevity paragon Jinsei, but they did not have the power to suppress the entire world. Those who coveted the path-understanding tree naturally jumped out. After Ling Xiao was reborn, He did not sense the aura of the longevity secret realm and the path understanding tree. He knew that they had long disappeared. However, he did not expect that under the power of the wordless heavenly book, he would be able to sense a trace of the path understanding tree's aura. He even found a sapling of the path understanding tree. Perhaps this sapling was the seed left behind by the path understanding tree after it underwent nirvana. By chance, it had taken root and sprouted in the longevity sect. The path understanding tree is the sect protecting divine tree of our longevity sect. It is the #1 spiritual root in the world, a treasure that countless people are jealous of. You will know its various benefits in the future. Remember, you must not reveal any information about the path understanding tree. Ling Xiao warned Lu Chuanxiong and the other two. The #1 spiritual root in the world? Although Lu Chuanxiong and the other two did not know what it meant, they could tell from Ling Xiao's serious expression that this path understanding tree was not ordinary. Go and invite the sect leader and the great elder here, Ling Xiao instructed. Lu Chuanxiong and the other two left the back of the mountain and headed towards the longevity hall. Ling Xiao squatted down carefully and used his spiritual energy to probe the path understanding tree. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He could feel that although the path understanding tree's life energy was extremely pure, it was incomparably weak. It was like a candle in the wind, about to be extinguished at any time. This was clearly a sign of a congenital deficiency. The path understanding tree was the #1 spiritual root in the world. The environment it grew in was extremely harsh. If not for the fact that this was where the path understanding tree grew and left behind a trace of pure life energy, the sapling would have died long ago. The reason why this area was turned into a wasteland was because the path understanding tree had absorbed the surrounding life energy. Even so, it was barely holding on. If nothing was done, the tree of enlightenment would completely die in a few months. Looks like it's time to refine the heaven-seizing elixir. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he made a decision. Not long after, 2 gusts of wind could be heard. Nangong Xian and the great elder arrived together. Ling Xiao, why are you looking for us 2 old men? Nangong Xian smiled. His eyes were filled with curiosity. Hearing Lu Chuanxiong and the other two's tone, Ling Xiao seemed to be looking for them for something very important. Do you know what it is? Ling Xiao did not raise his head. He continued to look at the path understanding tree. This is it? The back of the mountain, this barren land, actually gave birth to a sapling? Holy Sun, is there something special about this seedling? The great elder also exclaimed softly, a trace of surprise in his eyes. It's called the path understanding tree. 10,000 years ago, it was the guardian tree of the longevity sect. Ling Xiao's voice was very calm as he slowly explained the history of the path understanding tree. When Ling Xiao finished, Nangong Xian and the great elder were already dumbfounded. Chapter 88. First Innate Spiritual Root. Path Understanding Tree. The Grand Elder was so excited that he stuttered. He didn't know that the longevity sect actually had a heaven-defying path understanding tree 10,000 years ago. After all, it had been too long, so long that the records of the path understanding tree had long disappeared in the long river of time. Ling Xiao, are you saying that this path understanding tree is inherently deficient? Nangong Xian, on the other hand, was rather calm as he heard the crux of Ling Xiao's words. That's right. This path understanding tree, if I'm not wrong, should be the sapling of the path understanding tree from 10,000 years ago. It's just that our longevity sect has declined and is unable to support this path understanding tree sapling. Even if it absorbs all the vitality in this area, it's just barely hanging on. Ling Xiao sighed softly. Then what should we do? This is the first natural spiritual root. If the path understanding tree grows up, it will be able to protect my longevity gate for thousands of years. This is the foundation of 10,000 generations. Saint, is there any way to save the path understanding sapling? The first elder asked anxiously. That's right. Ling Xiao, think of something. We can't just watch the path understanding sapling die like this, can we? Nangong Xian began to panic. There is a way, and it's not difficult. However, A natural spiritual root like the path understanding tree can only be saved by the heaven-seizing liquid. Ling Xiao nodded and said, Heaven-seizing liquid? Could it be the heaven-seizing elixir created by the heaven-devouring supreme ancestor 10,000 years ago? Seizing the fortune of heaven and earth, reversing yin and yang, life and death, it had unimaginable effects. It was just that the heaven-seizing elixir shouldn't be that easy to refine, right? Even if Ling Xiao you have the heaven-seizing elixir's refining method, I'm afraid that even an alchemy grandmaster might not be able to refine it. The first elder's eyes lit up, but then he became worried. The great name of the heaven-seizing elixir, as an alchemist, the great elder was naturally very clear about it. But the heaven-seizing elixir had long been lost. Even if Ling Xiao obtained the inheritance of the heaven-devouring patriarch and knew the refining method of the heaven-seizing elixir, no one could refine it. Don't worry, I'll refine the heaven-seizing liquid. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he spoke resolutely. Toisun, you? The first elder didn't finish his sentence, but from his expression, it was clear that he didn't quite believe it. After all, Ling Xiao's monstrous talent lay in his martial arts talent, not his alchemy talent. Don't worry, I still have some confidence. These are the materials needed for the heaven-seizing elixir. You all quickly go and prepare. Ling Xiao took out a jade talisman and inscribed the various materials required for the heaven-seizing elixir on it with his spiritual force, then passed it to First Elder. Alright, let's go get ready. The First Elder and Nangong Xian nodded and hurriedly left. After Nangong Xian left, he knew the importance of the path understanding tree. He ordered Lu Chuanxiong, Gu Zhong, and Wang Han to lead some disciples to seal off the forbidden area at the back of the mountain, forbidding anyone from entering or leaving. Old buddy, don't worry, I'll definitely refine the heaven-seizing liquid for you. Ling Xiao muttered to himself, his eyes revealing a trace of determination. Although a supreme treasure like the heaven-seizing elixir was very difficult to refine, it was created by Ling Xiao in his previous life. Ling Xiao was naturally very familiar with its refining method. And most importantly, although Ling Xiao's current spiritual force wasn't very strong, the wordless heavenly book had a strange enhancement effect on spiritual force. Therefore, Ling Xiao also had a certain degree of confidence in refining the heaven-seizing elixir. Although the heaven-seizing elixir had the miraculous effect of seizing the good fortune of heaven and earth, it could reverse yin and yang and bring the dead back to life, and it was even more beneficial to a martial artist's cultivation. It contained a trace of the power of the heavenly Tao and could help a martial artist break through bottlenecks. The precious part of the heaven-seizing elixir was its mysterious refining method. The materials weren't very precious, but it required no less than 1,000 kinds of spirit herbs and countless demonic beast blood essences as supplementary herbs. Under Nangong Xian and the First Elder's orders, the entire Longevity sect mobilized with all their might. Gathering the treasures of Longevity sect, All Pleasure sect, and Sky Demon Palace, they gathered more than half of the spirit herbs required for the heaven-seizing elixir. Nangong Xian also sent people to Longevity City to purchase some of them. As for the other elders, they led the disciples to Beast Mountain to kill all kinds of beasts and collect their blood essences. In the forbidden grounds at the back of the mountain, Ling Xiao wasn't idle either. He took 1,000,000 supreme great spirit stones from Nangong Xian, which was almost 90% of the Longevity sect's inventory. Nangong Xian's heart ached so much that he wanted to jump up. Around the path understanding sapling, Ling Xiao had already dug out 100 zhang wide pit. 1,000,000 peerless grade spirit stones were placed in the middle of the pit. The supreme grade spirit stones were only the size of a longan fruit, but they contained incomparably pure spiritual energy. When 1,000,000 supreme grade spirit stones were piled together, it even turned into a bright spiritual mist. Ling Xiao used the 1,000,000 supreme grade spirit stones to set up a large array to gather the pure spiritual energy and the power of the dragon vein to replenish the path understanding sapling's spiritual energy. Boom! Following the completion of the formation, a resplendent brilliance enveloped the entire back mountain. Thousands of strands of auspicious qi, tens of thousands of rays of multicolored light, and an endless amount of essence energy, as if converging into the sea, crazily surged towards the path understanding tree in the center. The path understanding sapling was green, and its 3 leaves shone brighter, giving off a mysterious aura. This shocking scene caused Nangong Xian and the first elder's eyes to widen. Sect leader, don't feel the pinch. These million supreme grade spirit stones are only enough for the path understanding sapling for a day. After a day, they will all turn into ashes. Ling Xiao said with a smile. What? Only enough for the path understanding sapling for a day? This is a huge loss. 1 million supreme grade spirit stones is enough for our longevity sect to nurture over 100 evolved Jing masters. Now, it's all used on the path understanding sapling. Nangong Xian said with a pained expression. Sect leader, this is the first inborn spiritual root, not some cabbage. Once the path understanding sapling grows, it will not even care about spiritual stones. It might not even absorb spiritual crystals. When the path understanding sapling grows, you will know that not even 10 billion supreme grade spirit stones can compare to a single leaf of the path understanding sapling. Ling Xiao said with a slight smile, a hint of anticipation in his eyes. I hope that the path understanding sapling is as magical as you say. Nangong Xian felt a little better, and he turned his head away, not wanting to look at the ashes of the supreme grade spirit stones. A day passed, and the entire longevity sect was mobilized. All the ingredients needed for the heaven-seizing elixir were gathered. A total of 1,024 spiritual herbs were stored in jade boxes and sent to the back of the mountain. The blood essence of 360 beasts were also stored in jade bottles and sent to the back of the mountain. Only Nangong Xian, the first elder, Nangong Qing, and Lu Piapiao could enter the back of the mountain. Lu Chuanxiong, Jian Wuk, Zuozhen, Deng Yalin, and a few other elders guarded the entrance of the valley, not allowing anyone to disturb them. Chapter 89. Buzz. The 6 Suns cauldron emitted a scarlet glow as it flew out of the longevity ring and landed on the ground, emitting a buzzing sound. The 6 Suns cauldron was simple and unadorned. It had 6 sides, and each side had the image of a sun carved with runes. It was blazing with flames and overflowing with scarlet light, emitting a powerful aura. Ling Xiao knew that the 6 suns were a kind of array formation that came with the 6 Suns cauldron, the 6 Suns quenching array. It could increase the power of the flames by 60%. It was very miraculous. Ordinary alchemists used earth fire to refine pills. This way, they could conserve their mental energy and increase their tolerance. However, Ling Xiao did not plan to use earth fire to refine pills this time. Instead, he planned to use his own Chaos Golden Lotus Flame to refine pills. The Chaos Golden Lotus Flame was a spiritual fire of heaven and earth. If it was pushed to the extreme, it would be stronger than earth fire and could be controlled as one wished. However, using one's own true fire to refine pills consumed a lot of one's true qi and mental energy. Even ordinary alchemy masters would not dare to try it easily. However, the heaven-seizing liquid was of great importance, and Ling Xiao was prepared to go all out. The Holy Sun is too careless this time. It's too difficult to refine the heaven-seizing liquid with one's own true fire. The great elder thought to himself as a trace of worry appeared in his eyes. On the other hand, Lu Piapiao's eyes were filled with anticipation. Ling Xiao had long been synonymous with miracles in her heart. He could even refine lost ancient pills like the 7 Profound Treasure Pill and the Dragon Transformation Pill. What else could he not refine? Buzz. Ling Xiao took a deep breath as a glint flashed in his eyes. His true qi surged as he adjusted his essence, energy, and spirit to the peak. He patted the 6 Suns cauldron, and a golden lotus appeared in his palm and slowly flew toward the 6 Suns cauldron. That was the Chaos Golden Lotus Flame. The moment it appeared, the void distorted as the temperature rose abruptly. The resplendent golden lotus overflowed with brilliance. It actually split into 6 golden lotuses in an instant and merged into the 6 sun patterns on the 6 Suns cauldron. Boom! An incomparably hot flame rose. The 6 Suns cauldron seemed to be enveloped by a flaming dragon as it began to rapidly turn red. The runes on the cauldron were activated as 6 blazing suns soared into the sky, emitting mysterious fluctuations as its aura became stronger and stronger. This was the first step, preheating the pill cauldron. The first elder and Lu Piapiao's eyes lit up when Ling Xiao created 6 golden lotuses and 6 rising suns. Even Nangong Xian, who didn't know alchemy, felt that Ling Xiao's move was extremely stunning. The 6 resplendent suns became more and more resplendent. In the end, the area around the 6 sun cauldron was incomparably hot. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and his hands quickly formed a seal. The 6 suns cauldron trembled slightly and actually floated up. It was as if it was being supported by 6 suns, transforming into a blazing multicolored light. At the same time, Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and the Zhen Qi around his body transformed into numerous Zhen Qi hands. They actually grabbed the 1024 precious spirit herbs and threw them into the 6 yang cauldron like streaks of light, beginning to refine the essence of the spirit herbs. Lu Piapiao's eyes lit up in an instant. She stared at Ling Xiao's gesture intently, not daring to relax a little. The great elder was dumbfounded. He's actually refining more than 1,000 types of spiritual herbs at the same times. How is this possible? The great elder stuttered, and his eyes were filled with incomparable shock. What's impossible about it? Do you know where the 7 profound treasure pill that you consumed came from? The 7 profound treasure pills formula was given to my master, Master Jiao Mu, by Ling Xiao. When Ling Xiao was in the Zhenqi realm, he had refined spirit herbs at the same time and refined the long-lost dragon transformation pill. These 1,000 types of spirit herbs should be nothing to him. Lu Piapiao giggled, full of confidence in Ling Xiao. Looks like I'm really old. The saint is a martial prodigy, and even in the path of alchemy, he's also a peerless genius. The great elder's eyes lit up. He suppressed the shock in his heart and became more and more expectant. Is this brat really so powerful? Nangong Qing's beautiful eyes also widened. She was somewhat in disbelief, but also slightly excited and proud. The flames in the 6 suns cauldron burned fiercely, and the 1,000 types of spirit herbs shook within it. They were swept up by the flames and very ingeniously began to melt. At the same time, 3 strange dragon roars sounded. The 1,000 types of spirit herbs were actually wrapped in golden flames and instantly turned into 3 golden flaming dragons, surging within the 6 suns cauldron. Boom! The 6 suns cauldron shone brightly, and the speed of Ling Xiao's hands forming seals became faster and faster. His eyes were focused, and without any pause, the seals formed by his hands were like afterimages. The 3 flaming dragons surged and rotated in the 6 suns cauldron, intertwining with each other. Moreover, under these strange vibrations, those spiritual medicines turned into resplendent stars. They were scattered within the 6 yang cauldron, speckling like stars. It was extremely wondrous. The 3 flame dragons seemed to be wandering in the Milky Way. The flames were very strange. They didn't damage the essence of the spirit herbs at all. Often, the impurities in the spirit herbs were completely extracted, and in the end, they intertwined together to form a magical dragon galaxy diagram. This was the fire control technique of the 3 dragons playing with a pearl. After Ling Xiao broke through to become an upper-grade alchemist, his mastery of this fire control technique had increased by another level. Open for me! When the essence of the spirit herbs in the galaxy slowly condensed into a circular shape, Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and the 360 jade bottles exploded at the same time. The blood essence of the 360 types of ferocious beasts fell into the 6 suns cauldron like a rain of light. A golden lion with shiny fur and a monstrous aura descended towards a star in the galaxy. Boom! A lightning dragon soared through the void. Its purple dragon scales were vivid and lifelike. It swept across the sky and rushed into the river of stars. More and more ferocious beasts rushed towards the 6 suns cauldron as if they were a flood. Thus, everyone saw a wondrous scene. The stars in the galaxy seemed to have a life of their own. Countless ferocious beasts' blood essence turned into phantoms of ferocious beasts and rushed in, erupting into a terrifying galaxy storm. Rumble. In the end, the 3 flaming dragons also rushed in. The boundless galaxy seemed to be splitting the sky and earth, and a violent explosion occurred. A mysterious brilliance like a nebula enveloped all the fluctuations of the explosion and slowly sank into the 6 suns cauldron. A terrifying and mysterious aura was being nurtured, and it slowly grew stronger. Buzz. Chapter 90. The true energy in Ling Zhao's body was also constantly being consumed. However, under the full power of the heaven-devouring spirit seed, the surrounding spiritual energy was all devoured by Ling Zhao, replenishing the consumption in his body, allowing him to continue refining. But even so, Ling Zhao's spiritual energy was almost on the verge of drying up. If not for the wordless heavenly book's protection, perhaps the refining of the heaven-seizing elixir this time would have failed. The refining was nearing the end. Boom! In the next moment, the 6 yang cauldrons suddenly began to spew out endless brilliance. Tens of thousands of rays of multicolored light and auspicious vapors rose. The endless intense divine light turned into a vortex and began to crazily devour the surrounding heaven and earth spiritual energy. Rumble. The spiritual energy within 1,000 miles was all devoured by the 6 suns cauldron. A resplendent auspicious cloud appeared in the void, and the scene was astonishing. Condense for me. Ling Zhao did not care that his entire body was soaked in sweat. He shouted loudly and formed the Aquarius seal with both hands. Suddenly, the 6 suns cauldron shook violently, and a resplendent brilliance rushed into the sky. No one could describe the brilliance at this moment. It was as if they were in the divine world, and heaven and earth were enveloped by a vast white light. A ball of liquid flowing with rainbow light slowly floated up from the 6 suns cauldron. This is the heaven-seizing elixir? It's so beautiful! Lu Piapiao and Nangong Qing's eyes lit up, and their eyes became somewhat blurred. Ha! Saints' attainments in alchemy are simply earth-shattering. This old man really prostrates himself in admiration. He actually really refined the heaven-seizing elixir. The first elder was so excited that he danced with joy. His white beard stood up, and his eyes were filled with excitement. Finally succeeded. Nangong Xian's tightly clenched fists relaxed slightly. His palms were full of sweat, and a large stone in his heart fell to the ground. After all, the legend of the heaven-seizing elixir was too magical. No matter how monstrous Ling Zhao was, Nangong Xian and the first elder were not completely confident that Ling Zhao could refine the heaven-seizing elixir. Their hearts were still filled with apprehension. At this moment, they were completely relieved. It's not over yet. Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a trace of solemnity as he looked above the void. Rumble. The moment the heaven-seizing elixir appeared, dark clouds filled the void, and violent winds blew. Suddenly, black lightning exploded above the 9 heavens. A powerful and terrifying aura completely enveloped the heaven-seizing liquid below. Lightning flashed, and the heavenly might was like a prison. The lightning above the 9 heavens was as resplendent as the Milky Way, falling down, exuding a world-destroying might. This is a pill tribulation. The heaven-seizing elixir actually really had a pill tribulation? The great elder cried out in surprise, his eyes filled with shock. Although he had heard of the legendary heaven-seizing elixir seizing the good fortune of heaven and earth, and that once it was born, a pill tribulation would descend, this was still the first time the first elder had seen a pill tribulation. How could he not be shocked and excited? Pill tribulation must be withstood by the medicinal pill itself. External forces have no way of helping. I wonder if the heaven-seizing liquid refined by Holy Sun can withstand the pill tribulation? The great elder's eyes revealed a trace of worry. Ling Zhao's gaze was also slightly solemn. However, the pill tribulation was a step that had to be experienced. Only by experiencing the pill tribulation would the heaven-seizing liquid be able to truly give birth to a trace of creation vitality. Only then would it be considered a true heaven-seizing liquid. Rumble. A silver-colored lightning tribulation the thickness of an arm rumbled down, its speed swift to the extreme, instantly landing on the heaven-seizing elixir. The heaven-seizing elixir trembled slightly and was directly drowned by the silver-colored lightning tribulation. Endless lightning flashed, an aura of destruction emitting out. Just as everyone was worried, the lightning flashes disappeared. The heaven-seizing elixir was unscathed. Furthermore, it became increasingly resplendent and dazzling, akin to a ball of immortal nectar, emitting waves of fragrance, making people feel greatly invigorated. Good blocked. The Great Elder and Nangong Xian both heaved a sigh in relief in their hearts. But the next bolt of lightning tribulation landed again, making their hearts rise to their throats again. Rumble. The heaven-seizing elixir's pill tribulation had a total of 9 bolts. Furthermore, each one was stronger than the last. It was heaven and earth sensing, sending down a lightning tribulation to destroy the heaven-defying thing. Following that, another 7 bolts of lightning tribulation landed, but they were all blocked by the heaven-seizing elixir. Furthermore, it started to undergo a kind of transformation, sublimating to the extreme. Rumble. The last bolt of lightning tribulation landed, thick like a water bucket, pitch black, containing an aura of destruction, connecting heaven and earth, directly slamming onto the heaven-seizing elixir. Furthermore, horrifying lightning flashes erupted, submerging the entire back mountain forbidden area. This bolt of lightning tribulation only completely dissipated after a long time. And when Ling Xiao saw that ball of resplendent heaven-seizing elixir in midair, 9 colored lights spreading out, gorgeous and dazzling, emitting myriad rays of light, only then did Ling Xiao completely let out a sigh in relief. Buzz! The heaven-seizing elixir trembled slightly and actually seemed to have a life of its own, turning into a streak of flowing light and was about to fly away. Want to leave? Come back for me. A light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. A large hand of true energy grabbed over, instantly grabbing the heaven-seizing elixir back and carefully putting it away into a jade bottle. The moment he relaxed, Ling Xiao immediately felt a splitting headache, mental strength overdraft, virtually almost on the verge of drying up. His complexion was pale, and he could not even stand steadily, directly sitting on the ground. Ling Xiao, are you all right? Nangong Qing's expression changed, hurriedly rushing up to help Ling Xiao up. The expressions of Nangong Xian and the rest also changed, hurriedly walking over, their eyes revealing worried looks. I'm fine. Just somewhat overdraft mental strength, that's all. I'll be fine after resting for a while. Ling Xiao said with a smile. He simply directly sat down cross-legged and opened the jade bottle in his hand. The heaven-seizing elixir emitted a sparkling and translucent light, trembling slightly. This bottle of heaven-seizing elixir looked like there were only several dozen drops in total. Ling Xiao directly poured out a drop of heaven-seizing elixir and swallowed it in one gulp. The heaven-seizing elixir contained boundless vitality, seizing the good fortune of heaven and earth. It was extremely beneficial to martial artists naturally choking to death. Ling Xiao currently overdrafted his mind and physical strength and naturally swallowed a drop without the slightest courtesy to recover his own consumption, and also to test the effects of the heaven-seizing elixir. Bang! A drop of heaven-seizing elixir entering his abdomen, a resplendent glow suddenly surged around Ling Xiao's body. An incomparably powerful life aura emitted from his body. The true energy and mental strength exhausted within Ling Xiao's body were all recovering rapidly. In a mere 15 minutes, Ling Xiao leaped up, both eyes glowing with divine light, aura powerful. He actually already recovered to his peak state. The effects of a drop of heaven-seizing elixir were far from just this. Ling Xiao originally planned on breaking through another level of cultivation in one go. But after he completely recovered, the remaining energy was actually directly snatched away by the wordless heavenly book, making Ling Xiao rather depressed in his heart. Good. Now that the heaven-seizing elixir is refined successfully, next is the moment to let us witness a miracle. Ling Xiao smiled slightly and walked over toward the Tao Comprehension tree sapling, his eyes revealing a hint of anticipation. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.